Good morning. Welcome to Sewing Street. I'm John Cole Morgan and I'm so happy to have you here this morning. Nice bright and early on a Saturday. Lovely to have you. Because you're our lovely early birds this morning, we've got a really fabulous product for you today. I've forgotten the name of it now. Needle grippers. Sorry, I was thinking, I know what it is, but you know what it's like. You think of something and you can't remember the name. These are really, really fabulous. What these are, you can then, if you're doing any form of hand sewing or stuffing of toys, this is the perfect little product for you to be able to grab your needle in from the other side, saves your fingers. And it's got this wonderful little lock on it as well that you're able to then lock the product as you're using. Or you can tease your stuffing with it. And you're stuffing your awkward limbs and everything, you can get them in nice and sharp. But it's got this wonderful little locking mechanism there, so you can see as I've pressed it, it's got two little clicks over there. And if I undo it, you just do that. And you've got these lovely little teeth over there, you can see that it locks in. And then to use any form of English paper piecing, you can just take your needle and put it on there and pull it through. For hand quilting, if you're going through multiple layers, it just saves your fingers so much effort. And they're really good for overlockers as well. What a lovely, lovely thing. And toy stuffing as well, which is the main thing people use these for, because you've got that lovely, long, thin nozzle on it to be able to get the stuffing right through as well. A lovely, lovely little product that. £7.99. You're saving £2 getting that today. That's half your P&P paid. That's for your half your P&P's paid with that saving there. These are really lovely. I can't wait to get mine home and use these, because I'm loving the fact that being able to take the needle through when you're doing English paper piecing, because I do find that dragging the needle through all the time causes my fingers. I always end up with a ridge just on one part of my finger, grabbing the needle through all the time. And these are really great because that just saves your fingers on that. And I love it. It's got this little locking mechanism on it as well, because you can get it really, really tight on 2 clicks, or you just put it on 1 click and you've got it much looser, but you've still got a really great tension on the top of the grippers to be able to do that and put your stuffing in or get everything through. So what the early bird is for you is, if people haven't noticed what that is or know what that is, because you come and join me first thing, nice and early in the day, we like to give you a little gift, a little bit of a saving, a nice little present to be able to then save some money on that. And you're the first people to see it. So that means if that's something you want to get, you're the first people to be able to get in your basket. And it's obviously all day or while stocks last, whichever comes soonest. Some days it's while stocks last, because these sell out. We've had several shows where our early birds have sold out while we're on the show. Otherwise, if it doesn't sell out during the show, it'll be on until its stocks last on it. Such a lovely little product, that. Really, really good. Now, if you haven't shopped with us before, best way of doing that is on our website, www.sewingstreet.com. Failing that, if you want to call our UK-based call centre, that's 0800 001 4433, and there are a UK-based call centre based just up the road here. They will easily be able to take your order for you, answer any questions you have about the products that you may want to buy. So they'll be able to answer any questions that you have. 0800 001 4433. Really nice way of doing it. And they're lovely people. Nice to have a little chat with them as well. So, yep, our lovely little early bird available for you there as well. We've got our one-day P&P, which is £3.95. So it doesn't matter how many times you click out during the day, you're only paying the 1 postage and packaging throughout the day. So you don't have to ever worry about, if you bought the early bird now, you've paid your postage and packaging, and that's done for the whole day. And it doesn't matter what you're buying, whether it's a self-healing cutting mat or one of the beautiful handy quilters we had in yesterday, that massive long arm, or you're buying one of the early birds, they're all £3.95 throughout the day. You don't pay any more or any less. That's exactly what it is throughout the day. So if you haven't used the website before, this is the best way of doing it. You go on, you type in www.sewingstreet.com, click onto this page, and don't worry you're on the Jewellery Maker's site, don't worry about that. This is our sister channel. They are very kindly lending us their website while ours is being built. So if you go on there, where the little hand is now, you'll have the YouTube live feed on there. So if you're on that at the moment, you click play, it'll be me, hello. And then you just move a little bit down. Please make sure you sign up to our newsletter just there, where the email address is. That's a lovely, lovely way of being able to stay in touch, hear about all of our upcoming people coming on, upcoming deals, and you get to know everything a couple of days before everybody else. And then just below that, you've got the Shop Our Category option, catalogue option. So if you click on that, you've got all the different categories of our catalogue. So you've got sewing machines, kits, and all that. Otherwise, just below that, you can then see all the products that we've got available. Those are all our lovely, beautiful sewing machines. And then these are all the products available. And you can see there's our lovely little early bird. And any of the products that you've got today will be on the website for you to be able to see throughout the show. And if you wanted to now go on the website and get a bit of a sneak peek about what's coming up later in the show, between 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock, you can go on there and get them now ahead of everybody else. So that's the best way of doing it, is on the website, because you've got everything available on it. But again, if you'd like to call the call centre, it's 0800 001 4433. They'll be able to help you as well. If you want to follow us on our social media platforms, we've got several ways of doing that. And also, if you want to message us as well, we've got a studio email address as well. So please drop us a message in the studio. We love hearing from you. The best email address to get that on, or the only email, is studio@sewingstreet.com. So even if you just want to say hello, or you just want to drop us a line, you can do that on there. If you'd like to get us on our Facebook page, the channel run page is www.facebook.com/sewingstreettv. And in there, there'll be a little message button, and you can drop us a line as well on there. We've also got our Sewing Street fans page on Facebook, and if you want to get us on Instagram, we've got that's instagram.com, and then you search Sewing Street and you'll be able to join us on there. But I think my most favourite feature is our YouTube channel, which if you go onto YouTube and just type in Sewing Street, you'll be able to go back and get all the videos going back from our very first broadcast on Valentine's Day. What is that now? 4 months and 6 days old. 4 months and 6 days old is the channel we are now, and every single broadcast since then you will be able to go and see, and you'll be able to see some of those terrible ones of me at the very beginning on the 1st of March and see those as well. But every single broadcast we've done is on there. Every single block of the week is on there. Any demo that's been done, all of them are on there for you to go back and watch as soon as and whenever you like. So today, we've got a really, really fun packed show today. We've got me at 8 o'clock doing fabulous fabrics in the beautiful Liberty Flower Show summer collection. Then we've got the Quilt-as-you-go Tori Tote bag with Angela Pressley. Hello, Angela. And then 10 a.m. is Creative Grids with me, lots of those beautiful, beautiful rulers. And then at 11, we've got a repeat of Sewing Room Tools. And then at 12 o'clock, we've got the Block of the Week, Block 11, which we launched yesterday as well. So you'll be able to catch up on that. So let's start with our recap of the extra wide backings. We're going to do the white one first, because the white one, we are very, very, very low in stock on this one at the moment. This is the white one here, and you can see it's got this wonderful little cross-hatch design on it, but it's not completely uniform. You can see it's a little bit non-uniform. And it's great because it hasn't got that sort of straight line linear grid look to it. It's got that wonderful, wonderful I don't know how to say that, which would come across well. It's not straight lined. It is a grid, but it's not completely straight lines. It's got a nice little wobble on it there, which I love. Really, really good. So this one, we are expecting to sell this out. We've only got about 4 meters of this left. So if you are interested in getting some really, really lovely extra wide white backing fabric, this is the one you can get. And you can see what I mean about the grid. It's got that wonderful grid on it, but it's not completely uniform. It's not completely straight. You can see what I mean on that. It was really, really lovely, that. So this one is what we've got the least amount of stock on at the moment, so do make sure you check out of that. If you have got it in your basket and you are wanting to do it, make sure you check out. If you don't check out, then unfortunately somebody who does check out ahead of you might be able to then... we only got these back in yesterday, so if somebody checks out ahead of you, they'll be able to take it out of your basket. Sorry, Susan is in just the wrong place. There we go. Hello, Susan. We named our mannequin. She does so much hard work for us, so we wanted to name her. Oh, there we go. Because we wanted to remind you of all these extra wide backing fabrics, because we had them on yesterday, but we've got less than 20 meters of all of them. And you can just see how much you're getting on this. It's 108 inches wide. That's 2.8 meters, and it's half a meter. But oh gosh, that looks really good with the quilt behind, doesn't it? Really, really good. Susan's doing a little bit of a rotation there. I'm not quite sure what's going on with her. Susan's revolting on us a little bit here, which is fun. But even if you're just making gift bags for Christmas, this is a really, really great price. Really, really lovely product. And it's just a really nice, nice fabric to be able to do anything with it. There's just such a lovely universal colour, and it's a really great, great quality. You can use this for virtually anything. Because the only reason we list it as backing is because it's extra wide. But it's got this really gorgeous, lovely little crosshatch design on it as well. And you can see that is such a lovely, lovely crosshatch. And for me, I'd be putting this as a border on quilts as well, because it's such a nice long length. You're not having to join anything together. And there's so much fabric in one of these 1/2 meters. And it's such a lovely fabric as well. I really like that. I think it's really fun. So the only reason we've listed it as backing because it's 108 inches wide. You know, when people think backing, sometimes they think it's got less of quality, but I promise you it isn't. It's really, really lovely. And there's so many other uses for all these fabrics. It's beautiful, beautiful cotton, 100% cotton fabric, so you can use it for everything. I'm going to do the aqua next, is that all right? Now, Susan, I don't know why you were rotating on me. Will you stay still for me there? There we go. Look how huge this is. Oh, no, there she goes. She's turning her back on us all. Doesn't want to be involved in these low prices. Good old Susan. Love it. Maybe what I should do is now, while she's turned that way, I'll put the next one on the other side of her shoulder there. So again, this works really well with the quilt behind it as well, but barley pops go with virtually everything. I adore the barley pops. And you can see that's a really lovely crosshatch on there as well. I think each colour has a different way of showing the crosshatch on there. And the fact that it's not so uniform as well, I think is really interesting. And it doesn't make your eyes go funny, doesn't it? Because sometimes when you have got a grid on there, it does make your eyes go a bit funny. Right. Hello, Susan. Is it odd of talking to inanimate objects? Well, I talk to my sewing machine all the time, so. Right, so we can see this as well. Oh, and now the navy sold very, very well yesterday as well. We've got less than 20 of the navy. Less than 20 meters of the navy left. I'm so glad we were able to bring these back because it's such a wonderful, wonderful collection, this. You gonna stay still? No, she's not having any of it. Nope, there she goes again. So there we go. We've got that wonderful navy combination as well. 108 inches, which is 2.8 meters by 1/2 meter for $8.99. And I'll show you now what the design looks like on this, because I think that I can never figure out which one I like best, because the design on each color changes so well and so differently. But you'll see that this has got a really dark, you can see what I mean there. It's got this gorgeous navy popping out from it, and you've got this lovely dark color behind it. Brilliant. Love that. Now these do sell very, very, very well and really, really popular, these. We sold out of the cream whilst we were on air. The white, we only had 4 meters when we came on. That's already sold, a couple of units already. So if you have got these in your baskets, please make sure you check out, because until such time as you've actually paid for them, they're not yours yet, and I don't want you to miss out on any of these lovely fabrics. Now, I mentioned very briefly barley pops before, so the quilt behind me here has all been made with barley pops, and we've used that on this bright collection just over here. There are 4 different barley pops that we've got available today. The bright colorway is the one in the quilt behind me. So what a barley pop is, you're going to get 40 strips of fabric. They're going to be 100% batiks. They are absolutely beautiful. They're the width of fabric, so they say 44 inches for safety, because you've got the selvages on it. We say that it's 42 inches. And let me show you what these brights look like in the actual one that we've used. Now, some of these have been used as shop samples. You can see yours will obviously come to you folded in a much more professional manner than what we've got here. But what I love about these is that all batiks are exactly the same on the front as they are on the back. So you can see there is no right or wrong side on them. They're exactly the same. So if I slide this over, I can then show you all these different colours that go with it. And the colours work so beautifully together because not only have you got the consistent design of these lovely dots, but they change ever so slightly as you go along. But what's so good is all of those you can see there, even that just works so beautifully with it. And then when you've got this green, you can see it's got that yellow in it as well. So that yellow is a really beautiful colour. But the yellow then ties in with the yellow there. And because the dots are the same all the way through, you get this sort of uniformity throughout the blocks and throughout your colours. And I just love the fact that you bring in all these different colourways. And my favourite thing to do is to actually get multiple barley pops and put them in with different ones as where you go. So I'll show you what I intend to do with the next project I'm doing with my barley pops. And you can see as you get a bit darker as well, you then pop this really bright colour in and then it just completely changes the look of everything. Now most of these, I think you do get one or two pieces, but I don't want you to think that they're identical because even though, if we look at these two together, even though they are exactly the same print, when you look at the blocks together, you can see that in this section there, it's totally different to this section there. So even though you're getting two of the same colorway, the barley, because of the batik way of dyeing the fabric, you will end up with two totally different pieces. Even though it's from the same colorway and the same design, they will be totally different strips of fabric. I hope that makes sense. Because you can see it, actually I think on the yellow it brings it out beautifully. These are exactly the same fabric, but when you put them next to each other, you can see as you progress around down the strip, the fabrics are totally different, even though they're very clearly the same fabric. But because of the batik technique, you don't have the ability of being able to do everything identically, because what they do is they splash the reactors onto the fabric very randomly. So even though they're using the same dyes and same colours, the way they come out at the end of the day is so different. That one as well, you can see they're exactly the same fabric, but totally different when you put them next to each other. They're all unique, just like all of us. And you can see just how beautifully these all go together. And you can tell where I've been cutting out strips of these because they're not whole strips anymore. They're sort of just under a half. I tried not to take more than a half. But it is just such lovely fabric to work with. So those are our Brights barley. That's our Brights colorway. And then I'll show you our Blues collection here. This is the blue one. Now, I won't deny, this is my favourite one when I bought a lot of these. So that is the barley pops there. You're getting 40 pieces of each of those. But I'm so excited because the blues are my absolute favourite. And I think I bought 5 of these already, which is a bit silly. And this is called, are they called Under the Sea? They are. But look at these. The colours work so beautifully here. Just look how beautifully these all go together. Because they also do look like space, don't they? I love these. And again, these ones I've been chopping up as well to use for demos and things. A bit like this one. And the great thing with these is you don't have to use these just for quilts. You can use them for anything. These for bags, and I think you could probably put these together as dressmaking strips and doing sort of a patchwork take on a dress as well. That could be quite nice. Or a little fairy dress. That would be really good. But I just love the way these colours all go together, and they're all so different. And these are the duplicates of the ones. I haven't just plopped them all on. You can see these are the duplicates of the ones that we've had. But the colours are just so unique on each and every piece. It's really great. So with these, you're getting 2.5 inch wide strips. You're getting 40 of those width of fabric. So work that out. What's that? That's 100 inches, if I'm not mistaken. 2.5 times 40, yes, is 100. So you're getting 100 inches of fabric here, which is 2.5 meters in this, and that's $39.99 of these gorgeous batiks. Each and every one of them so unique and individual. We're going to do our autumn colorway next, which I think is really fun as well. Got this lovely, gorgeous colors. Look at that. Again, 40 strips of those, 2.5 inches for $39.99, and I'm going to show you now what these all look like. They're so different. Oh, my little folded combination here is coming apart. There we go. I think that just kind of wants to escape and be a project already. So again, you're getting 2 of each of these colorways, and each colorway is so different to the other. And then you get a lighter one and a bit more red. And then you're getting more mustard. And all the dots have got different colors on them. They're brilliant. I do love the way that we all show these very differently. I try to get them in a way that you can then have them when you take them out like this, that they're all in a nice easy space to put them back, but that's all right. Look at them. But what I love is as we lay these out, they all look so different, but they go so beautifully together, so tonally gradiating throughout the bundle. It's just gorgeous. I think this is my favorite piece in this collection. I love this because you can just see it kind of feels a little bit like a snake skin in some way. It's just really pretty, that. And it just gradiates in and out of all these gorgeous browns and earth colors. I love this. If you were doing any form of beach project or a quilt which required sort of sand tones, and oh, that would be beautiful as well. Or just to buy to look at. Look at that one as well. But I love the fact, so you can see, this is what I love about batiks, is you've got that gorgeous green popping on the side, and then when I put that together next to it, look how that brings that green in, and you can see then that uniformity and the way they use the colours coming in and out of the design. I love it. And look at that one as a finishing one, which is the same one as that. So that is our beautiful autumn colour combination there. Oh, and then last but certainly not least, you know what? My autumn combination is going over there. Sorry, I'll put that back later. Then we've got our beautiful pastel colorway here. Look at this. I adore these. They are so beautiful. Very subtle, a bit more restrained possibly than the other colorways. I just love the way these all work together. Really beautiful. Love them. Love this. And they look like little bits of sherbet. Little ice cream pops all the way. Look at that. I do love the way that you can lay these all out. So when I made the quilt behind me, I put them all out on the table, and I started out by going, oh, I'm going to put a red with a blue with a this one, and then I thought, you know what, I'm not. I'm just going to put them down, in a bag, and I'm going to grab out 3 and put them together, and that is it as a random test. Because the great thing with this, you can easily do a random quilt with this because they tonally all go together, and it doesn't matter whether you've got 3 lights together or 3 darks. It doesn't matter, because in the quilt it will work so beautifully because these colors are designed to go so well together. So it's one of those really easy, effortless ways of being able to get fabric that works so naturally with one another. You can see just those 3 together go so beautifully together. It just works so well. And they've done all the work for you. All you have to do is sew the pieces together. Look at that one. They're just so clever with the way that they colour them. And then you've got something so beautiful as that, and then all of a sudden you've got an orange, which is, oh, it just pops so beautifully together. I think of fruit sherbets when I look at all of these together. And then those are just the beautiful, beautiful colours you're getting with the pastel colourway there. Really, really lovely. And they just go so well together in all of the projects you want to make with them. Really lovely. Shall I do the book next? So, talking about all these barley pops and this gorgeous quilt behind me, this quilt behind me is from Pam and Nikki Lintot's book, Jelly Roll Quilts in a Weekend. And I can confess, from the very beginning to the very end, the quilt behind me took 7 hours and 25 minutes. From start to finish, and I won't deny, I was watching television in the background. It wasn't, mad, frantic sewing on it. But I have to say, Pam and Nikki have written so many books over the years. They run that incredible shop down in Dorking called the Quilt Room. And if you haven't been down there, make sure you pop in. It's absolutely stunning when you can. Obviously, at the moment, I have no idea what shops are open and not, so make sure you check their websites and contact them before you go. But they have got the most incredible aesthetic with regards to the books that they write, and the projects are so beautiful. And this one is based entirely on using jelly rolls. And what I loved about this book is there are so many different projects in here, and you can do them in so many different ways. And they explain what a jelly roll is, imperial and metric, because there's always that question as to why do we always refer to inches. And you just go straight into the projects on it. So sewing all these together, the easy way of being able to take a jelly roll and then making it so effortless, sewing them all together, but then cutting this chunk out and flopping it around and making just a really, really interesting quilt on it. Because by doing that and sewing this together, when you sew all the strips together, they're going to be 44 inches wide, which is okay, but it's always about 10, 15 inches too small to be able to comfortably wrap that around you. But that's where they've added in these wonderful chunks of neutral colour, which makes this quilt 54 inches this way by 73 that way. And this really would show your barley pops very, very well, because you could pop all those together and then gradiate them all the way up. That's really lovely. And then you've got the Scarlet Steps, which is a lovely quilt here. Let me show you the finished product there. Look how easy that is to go together, and it just looks so, so effective. Then you've got the Skyline quilt, which I love because you've got these additional things on the side, which I think just makes the quilt really, really beautiful. And you've got that staggering way of being able to put the quilt. Sorry? Yes, it does. I think it is, yes. So this reminds me a bit of the Victoria Carrington quilt that she did a couple of weeks ago for the coin stack quilt. I love the way that this works because you've got that wonderful gradation of colour as well with the jelly roll. I think it's really, really effective. And then things like this, you can see there's a lovely star on its side all the way through that, which I hadn't noticed before, and it's really, really lovely. And again, it's just very, very easily written. It's written so, so easily for you to understand. I think it's fabulous. My top tip, though, when you do the bits over here, when you're sewing that, you're snowballing this block, make sure you then sew ½ inch that side, and you'll get an extra half square triangle because you'll have the multicolours on the sides, and hang on to that for the back of the quilt or for the border. You can just make a nice little extra bit there because I love saving my half square triangle bits on the side. So a snowball on a block is over here. You'll see you've got a square, and then when you sew a little square onto the corner and you cut that off, you're making a triangle. So if you do that on all 4 sides, you've created a snowball. But when you put that little bit on, you're going to lose a little bit of fabric in the corner. I'm terrible because I then sew 1/2 inch that end and I save all the fabric because I've got this bag of half square triangles that allegedly one day I'll be able to sew together into a giant quilt. Make a giant. One of my friends made a half square triangle quilt and each of her triangles were 1 inch, which is insane, but it was, and she made a king-sized quilt. She had 1,440 of these squares. It was insane. Looked absolutely beautiful. I know most of us would think of a coaster or something really simple, but no, Rosemary Yates, that was her. She loved doing that. Really loved that, and look at that. And I love the fact that this book is so easy to use, and it's not intimidating in any way. As a beginner, as an advanced person, all of these blocks go so beautifully together. And I love this block because you've got that secondary pattern in it that comes out, and you can see you've got this wonderful line all the way through the quilt. Got all these wonderful sort of Irish chains through it all. It's really, really effective. And then when you put 4 together, you get that lovely big chunk in the middle, which I love. And then as we go through this one, I absolutely adore because you're using 60-degree triangles to create all these little bits. And it looks really, really effective. And it's actually not as hard work as it looks, which I love. And you get all of that, which I think is so, so fun. I hate the fact that you trim the sides then, that you lose all that bit of fabric, but you stick it in your stash and foundation paper piece with it. And this quilt is absolutely beautiful. I love taking a jelly roll and being able to make smaller blocks out of them, or blocks like that where you've got 16 different pieces in and they're just so many colors, and look at that. It's just so, so, so effective. And the quilting on this as well is very clever because they've done a diagonal line across it, it's sort of cross-hatching it, but on point, that's the word I'm looking for. But just look how effective that looks. And you can imagine with the barley pops how well that would work in the barley pops as well. And all these different designs are so clever because what you're doing is you're making 4 different strip sets, cutting these up and making the blocks accordingly from cutting these strip sets. So it is a complicated process, but they're trying to make it as easy for you as possible. And then the quilt that I did, where are we? There it is. When I was actually demonstrating the book, I was showing the book on air and I was like, I love that quilt, I must make that quilt, Hayley. And there we go, you know, they then handed me a jelly roll and said, off you go. And that over here is the quilt that I've made behind me over here. And you can then see how effective this is. It's really, really lovely. This is the bright barley pops that I used here. And I'm just going to give you a quick little demo of how I made all of that. So I've used the bright, this was what I had left over from the bright barley pop combination. But that was, so you start off by having those. Now, if you haven't made those before, you're going to sew them into strip sets. So what I've done is I've used the pastel range here. Now when you sew these, you'll then sew, I've now got the blue colorway here because I just could not stop using it. So what I'm doing is I sewed this one from there to there. When you come to sew the next one, you need to make sure that you're going from here to there. So it's really important that you do that because if you're not sewing in the correct direction, what happens is because of the weight of your fabric and also the way that you are having your fabric lying off the side of your machine with your left or right handed, there's always going to be stress on the fabric that you're actually sewing. So if it's hanging off quite a lot on the side of your machine, you'll end up with a bow. And in order to counteract having a bow in your fabric, you alternate the direction you're actually going to be sewing in order to make sure you're not going to end up with that bow. So that was why, if ever you've been told you need to change direction as you go. I forgot to plug the iron in. I am here. So it's always quite nice to be able to know why it is that you're doing certain things. So what I'm doing here is I'm now just pressing this back with a cold iron, hopefully my iron is going to be very quick on doing this. And this one, I'm not pressing my seams open, I'm pressing it to the dark side. And there we go. So my iron heated up a lot quicker than I thought it would. And now what you're going to do is, once you've sewn your strip sets together, you are now going to create a 9 patch. So this is the 9 patches I had left over from when I made the quilt behind me. So if anybody wants to know, this is how much fabric I had left over after when I put the book together. And then you then create your 9 patch like that. So the way you create the 9 patch is when you've got your strip sets like this, you've got all 3 of them together, you then, I like less steps in my process. Please cut these individually if you feel more comfortable. I have been doing this a lot of late, so I am very comfortable cutting multiple layers. So I'm going to just trim off a strip set there, and you're cutting off a piece, 3 pieces there. Rotate that round. And I've got now 3 pieces, all the same width. And then you can put these together, and you can put them how you think works best for your piece of fabric. And I think that works quite nicely. So then you sew from that direction there, from that direction there. And you get your 9 patch. So what I've done over here, this is the one I've just made. I'm going to cut off a couple of pieces now, just to show you. Because what I liked about this is you've got the option of making these all the same, or you've got the option of making them the same but totally different. And I know you're all going, what? That makes no sense whatsoever. John hasn't had his coffee this morning. So there we go. So what I mean by that is I've got 3 different pieces here. There and there. And they're all exactly the same. Agreed? So if I sewed those all together, they'd be identical. But if I do that on one, that on another, they're all totally different. And they all look so different. So these are all the blue, this is the blue colorway that I chose for the Under the Sea. This is the pastel colorway, and then the quilt behind me I did was in the Brights colorway. So once I've got all those sewn together, and make sure that you go in opposite directions when you're sewing them, you then are going to get a whole load of these 9 patches. And you can see this one I did do together. So if you end up having done them together, what you're going to do is you're going to then sew. Now I know these aren't the right size. I haven't cut the right size for this. So all I did this for an example. So what I'm going to do here is the pattern tells you that you sew a 1/4 inch on that side and a 1/4 inch on this side. So if you have got 2 the same like that, that's absolutely fine, because all you do is on one of them, you sew from that corner to that corner, and the other one you sew from that corner to that corner, because one of your squares would look like that, which is totally different to the square you'll get there, and one of them will look like that, which again is totally different, because you've got the green is different over there. Even though these are different, they look different. You've got different purples over here, you've got more blue. So don't worry if you do get them the same, just make sure that you sew your triangles in different directions, and you'll end up with totally different blocks. And then just follow the pattern on how to sew all of that together in the order that you need to, and the sizes that you need to. You'll easily be able to get that from the book. It's so simple to do. Such an effective quilt. And I have to say, of all the jelly rolls I've used in the past, I do think that the Barley Pops show on this so beautifully. And it really works. Now, when you're doing this, you are going to need to get some background fabric. Now, I use the ivory on the one behind me, which is a lovely colorway. It gives you a really bold, stark contrast between your fabric. And I've got my label in the wrong place there, apologies. So that's what a 1/2 meter looks like. I can't remember exactly how many meters I needed for this quilt. I'll look that up right now. But this is the beautiful ivory color combination here. This is $3.49 for a ½ meter. So if you're going to be buying a meter, that will come in at $6.98 a meter. If you needed 2 meters of this, I can't remember how much you need, you'd be buying 4 units, and that would come to you as a 2-meter piece. But it doesn't really matter how it comes to you, because you're going to cut them down into squares anyway. Let me just double check the size of the background fabric you need for this quilt. No problemo. So you're going to need 2.5 meters of background fabric. So if you did want to make the quilt behind me, you're going to need this wonderful book by Pam and Nikki Lintott. You're going to need a barley pop, and you're going to need 2.5 meters of the ivory if you want to use the ivory, and that's 5 units. So make sure you put 5 units in your basket and check out. If you fancy using the cream, which I do think you'll get a really lovely effect using the cream as well, especially with the blues and the autumn colors. You can see what I mean by that. You've got that lovely cream colorway there. So if I put this is now the ivory, you can see you've got a totally different reaction to the fabrics with the ivory. And in my opinion, I think the bright colorway there and the pastel work incredibly well with the ivory, because if you use the cream, I don't think you get as bold a pop on the colors. But it is very interesting, because I think you get a much better effect with the cream using the blue and the autumn than you do using the ivory. But again, that's entirely up to you. There is no right or wrong, and it just what works best for you. The cream colorway that we've got here as well, again, if you wanted to get the fabric for the cream for this project, you're going to need 2.5 meters, which is 5 units. That's ½ meter, what you're getting, so 44 inches wide by ½ meter. And the color on this is just so lovely, really beautiful colorway there. Really great colorway there, and it's just such a great price on that as well. And there we go. Now, I am so excited by the amount of fabric I've got to show you today. We've got the Moda Canning Days collection. Is this a bundle first? Is this a bundle first? And I have found that these wonderful rulers by Creative Grids are not only amazing to work with, but they're exceptional for holding your fabric when you want to hold the whole bundle up for the camera. I should have the 8.5 inch wide here, but because it holds it just that little bit better, but this holds really well as well. Look at that. Isn't that just the most festively fun, sunny, gorgeous, summery collection there? I absolutely adore that. You're getting 9 pieces here of ½ meter. You know Moda is incredible. Their quality is exceptional. And those 9 pieces there, ½ meter of each, is £66.99 of each for that bundle there. Such a lovely, lovely combination. This one I'm going to show you first is Golf Papa Whiskey 179. Look at that. So the only reason that I'm saying those funny codes that you just heard me say is because not only can you search them then by me calling them out to you, but it also just makes Kat's life a little bit easier being able to find the graphics, because we've got so many different codes and so many different things. And you know what happens, you put them in a bundle and one person moves the next thing down and you get the wrong code. So it's just easier to read them out, and you've got them there as well. Now with these as well, if you're wanting to do a solid colour with this, you could extend it. Sorry, I forgot to turn my iron off again. I keep doing that. So with these as well, they work really well with the solids on the background. You can see just on there, but we've got loads of different colours in the solid collection. If you go onto our website and just search 100% or just type in 100 cotton, you're going to come up with every single colour that we've got available in our cotton collection of solids, and there are so many beautiful, beautiful colours that go with them. All of them are $3.49 for a ½ meter, so do check that out. It's a lovely, lovely collection that we've got on there, so make sure you check those. They're really lovely. The next one is Foxtrot Golf Whiskey 106. Because the great thing about the reason I mentioned the using the solid fabric is it's always good to get a lovely collection like this, but all of us want to extend the life of our slightly more expensive fabric than, that good stuff that you spend the money on, that you really feel really passionate about. We extend the life of it by adding some solids into it, and those colors go so beautifully together, and it works so well with this. Not only do you expand the amount of fabric that you're getting, because in a project, if you need a meter, use half a meter of this, half a meter of the solid. It's just so much nicer to be able to extend that along. This is now the Jelly Bouquet Cloud fabric. Half a metre of this is available for $7.49, but this is the second fabric in our bundle collection that we were showing you earlier. Oh, and I've lost the code now. It's come off. Stay. Get more sticky labels. Next one we've got is this gorgeous green, ACY126. Look at that. Oh, Droplet Jelly. Oh my goodness, what a lovely name. That's available by the half metre for $7.49. It's also the third fabric in our 9 fabric collection that we've got as our bundle. Look how fun that is. And then we've got our 4th fabric in this lovely bundle collection we've got here. The code on this is OWW140. Oscar Whiskey Whiskey 140. Look at that. Such a fun collection, this. Can you imagine fussy cutting all of those out for EPP projects? That could be quite fun. Again, half metre of that is £7.49. And don't forget to check out our cotton fabric as well that goes with it. You can imagine mixing this with a lovely light peach colour that we've got. That is going to work really well. The next colour we have here is Lima Indigo Whiskey 191. Look at that. So different, and it's a very similar design on all of these, but the colorways that they choose, it just changes the design so much, and it works really, really well. This is now the 5th color in our combination of our bundle that we've got available for canning days today. That's the 5th fabric in that bundle. And now our 6th fabric in this bundle is this lovely yellow. So that's Oscar Echo Whiskey 190. Look at that. Doesn't it feel like a really, really lovely wallpaper? It's so pretty, that. Oscar Echo Whiskey 190. Such a crisp collection there, such a lovely colorway. OEY190. Oh, I think that's sold out by the half meter we're hearing now. Sorry about that, but that's our 6th colorway in our bundle that we've got available. And this is only available now in our mega bundle. You can tell how popular it's been when it's sold out already. So this one is UKW106. That's $7.49 by the half meter there. This is available by the half meter, but it's also the 7th fabric in our Canning Days Mega Bundle. Gosh, that's a bit of a tongue twister, isn't it, this early in the day? £7.49 for the half metre there. That's a Stringson Rose. Gosh, that's a bit of a tongue twister as well. Oh. Ah, I didn't read that correctly. That's Apron Stringson Rose collection, I think. I'm just going to stop while I'm behind on that one. Half metre of that. And then we've got 2 left in this wonderful mega bundle we've got here. This one is UTW125. And look how fun that is. It's so fresh. Oh, and I've lost my label. My label literally has fallen off and run away. Oh my goodness. There's a random label around the studio for this one. Sorry about that. Might have to put a little note on that. Don't know what happened there. So that's the 8th fabric in our lovely mega bundle that we've got available today. And then our very last colorway we've got here is UZW108. So that is the Canning Days Cloud Fresh fabric, ½ meter for $7.49. And that is our last fabric in our colorway that we've got for our mega bundle. And I tell you, these labels are not liking me today. This one's come off as well. But I managed to find it over here. There we go. Stay. There we go. So that is the last fabric we have in our mega bundle here by Canning Days. Yours will be folded a lot more nicely than the one I've just done. And you're getting all 9 of those fabrics now because unfortunately the yellow, I can't lift that anymore, Cat, I'm sorry. There we go. So you can go there. My shirt is not included in this deal, but there you go. You've got all 9 fabrics available there. And that's our wonderful Canning Days collection. Do make sure you check out our 100% cottons as well, because I think that would go very well there. Now, this is the most fabulous collection of Liberty. Look at this. Look at that. We're just going to have to get that camera reset for us there. Thank you, Kat. So we've got 7.5 meters of fabric here. That is, how many is that? 13? 12? Look at that. Can't even get them all in on the screen. So I'll start them this way. You can see. So you can see there, we can go all the way through them. Now, all of these are available on the website, and I'm going to do my very best to get through as many of these as possible. But I'm going to use them in the last hour at 10 o'clock. So if we don't get through all of them now, because obviously we're trying to keep the timings, if we don't get through them all now, we'll make sure you watch us at 10 o'clock and you can catch us there. This one is WMYV65. That's ½ meter there. Yep, we're just doing the re-camera. So this one is called Ascot, Liberty Ascot Rose Fabric. We've got them all named after different places as well. We've got Malvern Meadow and Suffolk Fields, and make sure you check them all out on the website if you don't get a chance to see them all now as well. They just, that maybe you live near the place, drop us a message. We could tell us all about that. That would be great. £7.49 for the ½ meter of that. That's the first fabric in our lovely Liberty Mega Bundle there. This is now our second fabric, which is OHYV96. And there we go. Look how beautiful that is. OHY. Look how beautiful those little ditzy prints are on that. They're so fun. That one's called Suffolk Fields Flower Show. So have a little check on the website for that one. The code you're looking for is OHYV96. And is that $7.49 a ½ meter? $7.49 for the ½ meter on that. And then the next one we've got here is RJYV76. This one's called Chatsworth Blossom, did you say? Chatsworth Blossom. Oh, sorry, I'm not doing this very well this morning. There we go. £7.49 there for the half metre. Chatsworth Blossom. Look how fun that is. Loving these. Aren't these Liberty designs just so pretty? The colour palette is so bright and just really, really exciting. That's the third fabric in our little bundle we've got there. This one is QAYG72. This one's called Yorkshire Meadow. £7.49, and I love the way that all of these colours go so beautifully together as well. Loving this. Even if you just love Yorkshire, maybe you should pop that in your basket. Nice way of being able to remember your favourite county. Love that. And then we have MAYV91. Oh, I think I've got this upside down. I'll put these the right way around. There we go. So this is the Forget Me Not Blossom fabric from Flower Show Summer Range, half a metre of this. So this is our fifth fabric in this bundle, and unfortunately we're running out of time on this one. So do check these all out on our website, www.sewingstreet.com. You'll be able to see all the images of the fabrics that we have got on this hour, and the other 10 fabrics we'll be able to bring to you at 10 o'clock. We've got a fabulous fun hour there with all these wonderful fabrics. We've got a demo next at 9 o'clock by Angela Pressley. Really excited to see that. The Quilt-as-you-go Tori Tote bag, which would be lovely to see that. We're just going to redo the set. We'll see you in a few minutes. Hello and welcome. We love hearing from you, and we really hope that you can follow us on our social media platforms. We've got Instagram, which is @SewingStreet. We have Facebook. We've got 2 Facebook pages. One is the Sewing Street TV page, and the other one is Sewing Street Fans. All 3 of these are monitored all the time by our wonderful team, and if you want to message us on air, drop us a line on either of those 3 and we'll definitely be able to answer your questions that you may have. If you post on the actual wall, we can perhaps answer there. Otherwise, message us as well. That works really, really well. Thank you so much for being involved, and it's only because of this community that we're able to bring you all these different diverse products and to be able to answer your questions that you may have. Another way you can stay in touch with us is by signing up to our newsletter. These newsletters are sent out to you very regularly, and they include not only our guest profiles of upcoming guests, but also amazing shows that we've got coming up for you. And if you want to look at the amazing products before everybody else, that's the best way to do it. If you'd like to sign up and you haven't already, the link to follow is www.sewingstreet.com/sign up. You won't regret it. Thank you.
If you love sewing, then you need the UK's favourite sewing magazine. Every month, you'll receive exclusive patterns. Follow simple step-by-step guides suitable for all skill levels to make your own stunning clothes, accessories and more, together with inspiring tips and tricks from industry experts. Join in and discover your love for sewing. Try Love Sewing today and get your first 3 issues for just £6.
Hi, I'm Debbie Shaw from Sewing Street, and these are my 5 top tips for successful sewing. So, number 1, always use a good quality thread. A good quality thread will keep your seams stronger and also help to prevent lint building up inside your sewing machine. Tip number 2, if your project isn't going quite according to plan, put it down, walk away from it, come back again the next day and you'll probably find that things don't seem half as bad as they did. My tip number 3, never throw away your sewing machine manual. Always keep it to hand because you're going to find hints and tips, techniques and troubleshooting in that manual. You'll miss it if you lose it. My tip number 4 is to read your pattern instructions before you even cut out your fabric. Different manufacturers of patterns will give you different instructions, different ways of constructing your garments and different seam allowances. So to have a successful garment, you need to follow the instructions precisely. And then tip number 5 is don't give up. Every professional sewer sewed their first seam. Every professional quilter quilted their first quilt. Every professional quilter sewed their first line of wonky stitches and had to get out the quick and pick. That's no different to you. So I hope you find these useful. If you want more hints and tips, then why not go to Sewing Street on channel 74 on Freeview, on Sky 670, and of course we have a YouTube channel where you can catch up on previous demonstrations. We'll see you soon.
Would you like to take part in our weekly competition? If you do, then all you have to do is head to the Sewing Street fan page group on Facebook. Post your picture of your make. Myself, Debbie Shaw and John Cole Morgan love looking at all of your makes every week. We pick our favourite and announce the winner every Friday live on the show. Happy sewing and good luck.
Good morning, welcome to Sewing Street. I'm John Cole Morgan and we've got a really exciting hour ahead of us now. We've got Angela Pressley. We've had Angela on before doing other projects, so I'm so excited. We are going to be making this incredible Quilt-as-you-go. It's called a Tori Tote bag, which I'm so excited about. And we got these in 3 different colorways, 3 different fabrics. Are they brand new? Brand new to Sewing Street today. Brand new sorry, Hannah, what was that? Brand new colorways today. Sorry, not brand new to Sewing Street today, brand new colorways. Just look how amazing this bag is. It is so fun. And I think in the days where we're all trying to use more recycling, reuse our bags, isn't that the most beautiful bag to get all your shopping in? So sturdy as well. Really, really lovely bag, that. Loving that. So when I said 3 different colorways, you're going to get all these different... Which one? So we're going to start off with a panel that's actually made this bag, which I absolutely, it's so sweet. And you get so much, look at that. It's huge. So I'm going to just keep pulling this up all the way until you get to the bottom. You can see all these wonderful fabrics you're getting. Really lovely, lovely combination there. Sorry. So the code on this one is ILUU01. So you'll get this panel, and then you're going to get a metre of cream fabric with that. So this is a ½ metre, but I can show you then what the cream fabric looks like. Is that for the lining? That's for your lining. So you can see you're going to get that fabric panel there, and then this is the beautiful cream colour you're going to get, and you're going to use that for your lining. You'll see just underneath the graphics there. You're also going to get this wonderful Quilt-as-you-go kit over here. So you're going to get the panel, you're getting a metre of this fabric, and you're getting this kit and the panel, all available there for £37.96. Really, really lovely that. So that's the one that they've made. Then shall I do EY? EYUU76. So this one we've called the vintage colorway. And look at that. It's like my block of the week vintage. But the fabrics are different than my block of the week. Colors are similar, but they are different. And you're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're getting 5 different colors, 5 different designs on this, and you're getting a metre of grey fabric with that. Now, we haven't got the grey fabric with us because grey fabric is quite hard to come by at the minute. So it's all in stock, it's all around, just for somehow we've had a little bit of a delivery issue this morning. Don't worry. If you look on the website, you'll be able to then type in the code of FIXC, which is, I've got my left and right there, just over there. If you type that in, you'll be able to then see what the colour is on there. It's not a problem, but you will get that with it. It just hasn't arrived at the studio this morning. So again, you're going to get that wonderful fabric panel, your metre of grey fabric. You're going to get this Quilt-as-you-go bundle here with the pattern involved, and you'll then get the metre of grey, which we'll just imagine is sitting right there. So that's our second colourway. And then our last colourway available today. Ooh, that is pretty. It's called Geo Bright, so I'm going to show it to you that way so you'll be able to see, be able to see all the colourways then. So you're getting this whole panel and you can see, look how much you're getting. It is huge, a really, really lovely big panel there. So you've got more than enough fabric to make this. You're going to get 1 metre of dark grey. Oh, I love our dark greys. But again, we've had a little bit of a delivery issue this morning, so that hasn't arrived. But check the website if you want to see exactly which grey it is. Just type that code in, ZXC04. That will be delivered to you. It just hasn't arrived at the studio this morning. So you're going to get that wonderful panel. We're going to imagine our little block of grey just here, which will coming to you. And you're also getting your Quilt-as-you-go pack. It's got the full instructions in it. It's also got the webbing in it as well. So you've got all that lovely webbing. Now, when you do get it, when you take it out the bag, if you squish on the side, you'll feel that there's something in it. So don't worry, your instructions are here. Just keep unwrapping, keep unwrapping, keep unwrapping, and there are your instructions. We want to hide them from you right in the middle, just that way then you know. And the great thing about this is obviously with our wonderful YouTube page, we're able to keep the demos all available for you to go back and watch at any point that you want them. And you'll be able to catch up on our YouTube page with that as well. And that will all be available for you when the show is done. Sorry? Now, shall we go and have a look at the lovely Angela Pressley's demo? I'm really excited. Do enjoy it, and we'll see you after that.
Hi everybody, my name's Angela Pressley and I run the Sewing Club in Kent, and today I'm going to show you this lovely Tori Tote, that's the name of it, from June Taylor, and it's the Quilt-as-you-go method. So it's very simple and it's like painting by numbers, really, sewing by numbers. It's all laid out for you and you just have to cut out the pieces and just follow the order. So it's a lovely tote. You can see how big it is. I mean, it's very, very useful because you don't want anything that's too small that you can't get everything in. And the design is like a chevron, as you can see here. And you can mix and match your fabrics. Your panel will have 5 different beautifully coordinated fabrics, and you can mix and match it. I mean, you don't have to go with this chevron look. I'll show you how that is created, but you can just do, you've got the instructions, you'll be cutting it out, the measurements and everything, and you can just do, you could do potluck, couldn't you, and see what happens. But that's the design of it, to do the chevron, and it's got these lovely straps which have the batting in and a webbing, so they're really, really comfortable. So if you did have a something heavy in there, that is really comfortable. So the measurement is 15 by 14 inches, but I mean, you can see how big it is, and it's got a box bottom, so it's nice and flat there. And Quilt-as-you-go means that you quilt with the backing as well, the lining. So, I mean, you can see all the quilting lines in here, so you don't have to bother with putting a lining in after. So that's the floral design, the floral panel, and I'm going to do it in the Geo Brights pattern today. So this is how it comes in this big panel of batting with all these solid lines are where you're going to place your pieces. So you can mix and match where you want your fabric to be. I'll just show you the colourways that I'm going to do today. I've got this lovely, I've got the red, I've got mustard, and I've got blue. So I'll just put them out there, and then there, whoops, that's another blue. And then I'm going to repeat it on the other side, but you can do anything you like. So the batting comes as a big piece, and you need to cut off the strips for the handles, and so you cut those off, and then you just cut round the bag piece, about, I think it's ½ inch all the way around. And then you cut your lining, all the measurements are in the instructions, and you spray mount it onto the batting so it doesn't move about. So that's fairly simple because, I mean, you just spread it out, and then I do a ruler just to make sure there's no creases. But when you get your batting, June Taylor is very strong on that you mustn't iron it. It might look a bit creased, because what it is that the batting, the cotton batting, is quite a lofty fabric. It's woven, but it moves around quite a lot. So if you get your steam iron and start moving it about, it will distort it, and all those beautiful cut out strips and of your design, it just won't fit on. So what I did is I just left it overnight under 2 cutting mats just to flatten it out, and obviously when it's stuck on the lining, then it all flattens out. So that's all you need to do, is just need to cut off those 2 straps of batting, put them aside, and then you cut off your designs and work out what you like. But to get the chevron look, it's you put these 3 colours here, and then you can put that there and that there, and then automatically you get this kind of look. But you can do it any way you like. So that's, you can see you've got the blue and then the mustard, and then you can do it there. And then you have the strips. I'm not sure if that is, but I'm just showing you the colourways here. You've got a nice yellow. There's quite a lot of strips. So you've got to be organised about what's got to be 33 inches, 32 and a half. So there are quite a few little differences. So just be aware of that. I actually rewrote the instructions out in a notepad. So it was just really clear for me to do. I mean, even if it's an inch or so different, doesn't really matter. As long as the triangles, I think, fit. The strips, they're quite similar. So that's the design there. And then you will sew them up. So I'm going to show you how to sew up the designs now. What I would say with the batting, I would use a walking foot, and just a normal needle, an 80 or a 90, whatever you normally use. It goes through quite, it's not a thick thing. And thread, just the polyester thread, but the what you can use is just a normal length of stitch as well. That's fine. I think that's about it for equipment. Right, so when we come back, I'll show you how to sew it all up. So now we're set to do some sewing. So you can see here that we've got these solid lines going along here, and they are actually the placement lines for your pieces of fabric that you've cut out, and they're not the sewing lines. So I've just left a chevron in there, so you can see how that builds up if you do the 2 colours there. But what you do is you start with number 1. So number 1, I've made a blue here, so you can see it fits on there perfectly, and then I'm going to put a mustard colour, so that goes there, and you can see it fits on perfectly. So what we do is flip it back like that, and you've got these little helper, I don't know if you can see those, but you've got these little helper triangles sticking out there, and that is exactly where that should be. So what I would do is, there's quite a lot of pinning as well you have to do, is pin that, not where you're going to sew. And they say to pin just through the batting, not right through to the back, just to keep it so it's not buckling up any of the fabric. So then you stick that on there, or lay it gently, and then so that's flush there, and then I'm going to pin that. So this is, the first stage, just to get you going. But once you've got going, there's a few pinch points that you need to make sure that you are careful with, but I can help you with those. Right, just going to move this up. And I'll just show you where we're going to sew. We're going to sew just along there. It doesn't matter if you go over, and it's 1/4 of an inch, the seam allowance. it doesn't matter if you go over. I don't think it's said in the instructions, but because all of this stitching is going to show on this side, I like to do a little reverse or lock stitch at either end, because otherwise on this side you'll have all this stitching, and when you start cutting off the ends they won't be anchored. So I would do a little bit of reverse there. Right, so I'm just going to move my machine. And I've put in white thread, but you can have a think about what your backing will be. You might like that to be a grey, and then a sort of general, colour, sort of a cream or something like that. But I just put in white so we can see what we're doing. I'm just going to put it in there. I've got a walking foot on. And I'm actually using my walking foot, the side of it, part of it, as my guide for that 1/4 inch. So as I said, I'm just going to do a reverse. It doesn't matter if you go too far back, because it is the inside of the bag. Quite bulky, you get that bulk in there and you get it out the way and fold it up. It does move around quite a bit, so you might put even more pins in. But I don't know if you can see that there, the triangle there that goes in and forward. Get out there. Just a bit of reverse. My snippers out, so you can snip that off quite closely, and then you can just snip that, and you can do all your ends on the back later. Right, sorry, let's just turn it round. That's it. So when you lift that up, that should perfectly match in there along the solid lines, you see. So it's not a sewing line, it's just a placement line. So you can use a roller or anything like that, but obviously you're not going to press this, but I've just got one of these and I can just press that out there and smooth that out, push it out, and then I'm going to put some pins. I'm going to leave those pins in there, put some new pins in here, nowhere near where I'm going to sew, like that. So my colour up there can be red. Let's get a red. So thinking about it, I want those two to be red. Like that, so I get that effect, so that I know that that's 1, 2, and my third one I think is that one. So as you can see, putting it in there, nestling it in, so you can see where it's going in those little triangles, like that. Right, I'm going to sew that. I think I'll sew it from that end, the way I put my pins in. A little bit of reverse. Once you get going with this painting by numbers, I'll stretch a bit though. I haven't looked at the other side yet, but so there we go. So that should go there. Stretch that out. A bit short there, but that should be okay. I can take that pin now because I don't need that. Actually, sorry, we've got to squash that down. Right, so the next red one goes there. So that's going to go there. Putting a pin in there so it's... And if you want to, if you put your pins in, that's a bit not quite straight. If you put your pin in like that, and that one there, and if you flip it back, and then just make sure that you have actually got it in the right position, like that. But as it moves and you're taking your pins out, you might like a one in the centre there that you don't take out. You can see it moving at the bottom here. That's so what I'll do is take that pin. I'm going to stick that there because as I get to the end, he is moving about. And you don't want that. Also, you know, I've just got a very basic machine here that I've taken from my studio, but you might like to, if you've got one of those tables, I've got one at home, I've sunk my machine down in it. So I've got a nice flat table, you know, or a quilting table that goes with your machine. Because you don't really want it lifting up like this. This is probably distorting it a bit. But, you know, if you haven't got that, then just take it slowly. Just cut that off there. Yeah, we'll have a tidy up at the end. Right, and then as you go along, there you go. That one's a bit better, isn't it? I checked that. I checked it by flipping it back. Right. I don't want to stretch that out a bit, like that. So the red's got to go there, the big red. So there it goes, like that, going down there, like that. So flip it back and then it's going to fit into those little triangles like that. So, just make sure it's there, because I'm a bit low on that other one. Got to be fairly accurate. There we go. Now, I'll tell you what we do need to point out is that, see that there point there? I know that's a bit down there, but really we want that to be, we want to sew, so we have a lovely point there. All you quilters out there will want me to do it properly. So I might just come in a little bit there, because that is the main point where you've got to get them to match. Right. Well, not match, but you've got to get that nice pointy triangle. Whoops. Oh dear. Come on, threaded. Can I thread it without? Oh yes. That's good. Well done me. I'm going to say without snipping it or without glasses. There we go. Back. There we go. Right. So that's there. That's not very near there. I might have to come in a bit because I wasn't very good on that one. Well, we'll see. As you can see, it's moving about a bit, so put that green pin, yellow pin into the last. Reverse. Right, let's see. Oh, not too bad. Not too bad there. But that is the main point that you're trying to achieve. Obviously not on camera. There, that's all right. You just pull it back. Look, fitting, that's nice. Surprised myself there. Right, squash that down, squash that down. These lovely prints, they're lovely colours, aren't they? Very, I mean, they are bright, but they're muted as well. We've got this lovely mustard that's very popular. Right, so up there, we're going to have a blue, I think, a big blue. That's a big, there's a big blue, because then I'm going to have the two blues here. So we need two little blues. So take that away, that's going to go there, flip that back, that's going to go there, fit in there nicely. I'll pin it where I'm going to sew as well, but I will put a pin right in the middle. I might put a pin in the middle because it does move about a bit. The batting, it's not a very stable fabric, so it's lovely and soft, lovely soft stuff. Right, put that in there, anchor it down, take that pin out, there we go. Oops. I'll show you the back in a minute. So that's that. Oh, I also seem to be a bit short down there for some reason. Right. That's going to go there. Go there. Oops, I've got a pin in there already. Hang on, let's fix that there, fix that there. This is probably the most tricky bit of it all, really, the triangles. We'll do that one. You can see all beautiful colours coming together, can't you? There we are. Come on, mister. Don't unthread. Get it straight on. Take that one out, but I'm going to put it in that way so it really doesn't move. I don't normally sew over pins because I do have to sew as I want other people to sew, and although I might sew over pins at home, when I'm teaching, if I fly over a load of pins, then my students might do it and they might come a cropper. Right. That's it. You can see there, I don't know why, I always seem to do right sides better. It's always the way, isn't it? Right, so looking at that, we want the blue, don't we? The blue up here, like that. So you see that there, that's placed there. Flip it back. And again, I have to just be careful. Did I pin that? Let's just give it a good pin. Pin in a bit of a smooth out. Yeah, that's got one there. That's it. Right here, I've got to go, what you do is you put a pin in there and then you know what you're doing there. And then there. That's it. Where are we? There we are. Got to keep relaxed, I think, with this batting. You can't pull it or push it. I made a little hole there with my pin, so I know that if I go over that, then I should have got that lovely pointy triangle that I want. Move him out there, put him that way. That's it. Reverse. Right, shall we have a look? Oh, that's lovely. That's been better than the other one. Right, where's my little tool? Oops, no, I haven't sewn it there. Oh, I probably could come down a bit. We might leave that there for now. But I haven't quite caught it there. I don't know why, perhaps it moved. But I'll leave that for now and then I can come back to it. So the colour up there is, I think, the opposite of that colour. Let me have a look. Oops, yeah. There we go. I think I was going to put... Yeah, so what I did do is I labelled them with top and bottom because that bit is, I think, smaller than that bit. So, you know, by, I don't know, ½ an inch or something. So it's not, and that looked quite big there, but it definitely fits up there. So that's going to be on that one because it's sort of starting with there. And then we're going to have the two, we are going to have the two mustards there, although it doesn't make the... doesn't make the chevron. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'll sort out that one there. I might have to unpick it a little bit, but that's what I will do, and I'll just finish off that bit, and then what I will do is I will show you how to be doing the stripes down the side, and then the two stripes, and then carry on with the, hopefully, finishing the bag. So I'll see you in a minute. As you can see, I've just turned over what we've done so far, and you can see the back and how you quilt and the stitching. So you might like to do it in a grey so it doesn't show up, or contrast. I mean, the white doesn't look particularly attractive, but you could, you know, have a bright orange or something like that. So I've done a bit more here. That's the bottom of the bag, that's the top of the bag. And so we've done the chevrons there, and then we've done the side bits here. I'm just going to do the side bits there now. I won't do the other end of the bag, but you'll be able to see, you know, how the colours all work together. So I'm just going to pin that on there, like that. Still keeping the ½ inch seam allowance. So you can use your walking foot like me. I've just found out where I can put it, or you can get a ½ inch foot, can't you? Or you put some tape on your machine and you can use that as a guide. There's lots of different ways to keep one straight. Right, so I'm just sort of sewing half the bag here, really. Right, anchor it, take that pin out, a little bit of reverse, and off we go. As I said, you've just got to be very relaxed, not pull the batting, you know, just let it chug through, because it does get distorted quite easily. And if you have a quilting table that keeps it nice and flat, that is excellent. let's just straighten that up. Pin. And over the pin. Alright, you didn't see that. You didn't see me do that. Right, so that's that one, and then we've got the grey, and then we've got the yellow, and then we've got the red on the outside. I mean, I'm doing quite symmetrical, but as I said, you can, you know, mix and match, make it a bit unusual. I haven't quite got it up to the top there, but it's not a problem. It all fits in, all fits together. There we go. That's straight there. Right, just going to put push it there, pin it up. If I put these pins in like this, then they can just stay in nice. So they're not going to quite get in the way. But you can see the lovely colours, can't you? It's such a lovely roomy bag as well. It really isn't something that you're going to think, oh, there's not enough space in this. And with the backing, you've probably got enough. What one am I going to sew? That way. That way. Put pins in that way. Probably got enough fabric, half a metre or something like that. You could make a purse or something to match. Then you've got all the little remnants of this, so you could do a bit of crazy patchwork, make a little zip pouch to match. I would say when you're cutting out to just think about your long strips, because I made this, not a mistake, but I was doing all my triangles, and I thought, oh, I might like to have that colour in the outside, in the strips, but I'd already sort of chopped off and I didn't get the length. But I mean, you could put a little seam if that's your design. Let me just put another pin in there. You know, you're not going to see a little mini seam if you want to. If you don't have enough in one long go, because they are, I think they're most of them like 33 inches. But they do differ. So just be aware of that, and they differ between 2.5 inches and 2. I don't think it's a 2 3/4, but they could be. I do like these long pins. You can see it's rocking up there. My pins aren't really helping there. Let's just see what's happening. I'll put that one in there. That one in for that. That's it. And at this point, you know, just press those seams. Check that you haven't caught in. You can move those pins to there now. So we'll just do that side bit. So there's 2 strips to the side. What I'll do, oop, I've lost the end of that pin. That's a goner. And then I'll show you on the actual bag that I've made up how the side goes. Right, so that's it. Got red there. There we go. I've got, I could put another red there. I've got 2 mustards. So if I put a red there, then I could put mustards on the other side, just to make it a little bit different. So I'm going to put that there. Pins. Pins. I can take them from, you know, something like that, because that's not really anchoring anything anymore. Like that. Like that one. Yep. A bit over there. Right. By the way, all my machines have names. So I'm on Janessa the Janome today. She's behaving quite well. As you can see, it's just a straight stitch, so you don't need anything fancy. I'd say, you know, the stitch length about 2.5, that's fine. You might like to put a new needle in actually, because it's, you know, you're going through quite a few thicknesses here. So you put a new needle in and then it will be nice and sharp. And you won't have anything snagging. Right, I'm just going to move those to there. Because you do actually cut round the whole of it on this solid line. So, right, so that's it. So as you can see, that's the top of the bag. That's the bottom, the two bottoms. If I do that, then you can see how the bag is shaping up. Move that out of the way. Yeah, we've got a bit, obviously you've got a bit grey there, and we will cut that off. But you can see how the design and all the colours are. They're lovely, aren't they? So that's that. What I'll show you now is the straps. I'll just fold that up. Right, so I put those there, but I'll just show you on the actual bag that I have finished here. So this is the floral version, and as you can see, we've got two layers. We've got the floral and then we've got this over the top. So what it is, we've got batting in the back bit there, and then we've got a webbing which comes with the batting inside there, and then it's just double stitched there. So they're very, very, very comfortable like that. So the way you make those is you get these strips. You will have got these in on the side of the overall design, like that, and then you do your cutting out as per the instructions, and you turn under the end there. I think that's 1/2 inch, and then you put that in there. Now they are actually a little bit shorter, because if you think that you're sewing through all these thicknesses, you might be sewing through double web, double batting and the fabric. So she's sort of a bit shorter, so you don't actually have, on the first sew through, you don't actually sew through all those layers, which is very useful. So it's a little bit shorter there, and you can pull it up. I mean, there's a lot of give with this batting. So you put that over there, put that over there. I'll show you. So the way I ironed it is, I ironed it without that in it, and I just ironed under that bit first, and then I slotted that in so it's flush to that, and then I folded that over there. And then you just got to make sure that that's nice and neat there. So when you turn it over, I mean, you're not really going to see that because it is sort of tucked under, but you don't want any bits like this sticking under, you know, that problem there. So you want that nice and flat there. So that's that. Give that a good, you can give that a good iron. I did actually use a bit of steam. Right, so the webbing, so you get the webbing and you cut it to 30 inches, and then you get a slightly smaller strip, you know, and you have a contrast, which is nice. Choose your contrast. So again, that's tucked under there, and then so you put that in there, and I did iron again, iron that up, and then I just put that in flush there. I'm just inserting it. It was in there and I've taken it out. There we go. Right, so as you can see, I'll just put it in the, you might not be able to see there. So as you can see, it's not coming right up because this is actually going to be sewn through on the bag, and so the you know, you really will have a load of thicknesses there. So if that's like that and that's gone in there, it's not going in so well now because I'm doing so, and then that goes on the top. So like that, so it goes right up to the top, like that. So you might like to get some clips. I just have a few clips here because it's quite bulky, and if you put pins in it, it probably would distort. So you've just got to get it centrally in there. So pull that over, pull that over. Oh, it's not playing. There, that's it. You can stick a thing in there like that. I don't think I've got another one. Oh, it's got another one. Just do it on one side. So that's all. That's both sort of their closures are both together. So that's all hiding that. So what you do is you just sew down there and then sew down the other side. You don't have to do reverse at the end really, because it's going to be sewn in. So there we are. There's one done there. I think I did a white on the top, and then found a nice grey. I mean, it is the inside, but I didn't really want a bright white showing there. So I have to think about what that bobbin is going to be. But so you can see the end, there isn't much in the end there, so that when you sew it, it's not bulky. So that's the strap. And if I show you on the machine, on the bag here, how it's sewn. So let's have a look. So what it is, all the instructions are here. So you've got to sew it within that. You don't really have to have any measurements. You just know it's in the middle of that. So let's just say we're putting the strap here. You sew it up there, just to sort of anchor it, and then you turn it back like that. I think that's about there, about that deep. And then you might like to get a clip like that. Yep. And then we're going to sew across. Well, it's a bit deeper, but it's a bit shallower there. And then I sew across there. I thought maybe I was just sew on the yellow, but I think and like this as well, I think you really need to go on both of them and then do a reverse. Or I suppose you could do a little square, but it is quite bulky there. And you just make sure that that's tucked under there. I mean, that's not quite there. So that's maybe why you would want to sew down there, actually. So that's a really strong strap. Right, what I'm going to show you now is the binding. So that's that bag there. So the binding is another strip like that, and then you sew that, you press that in half like that. You can see it all on the top of this bag. Yeah, it's all lovely, neat, nice. It's nice to have a contrast. I thought that would be nice to match the handles. So just going back to here where let me just get this bag out of the way. So I haven't mentioned that when you've actually done all your quilting, you need to cut it all on the solid line. So what June has done, I mean, you can see on, let's say here, let's just focus on that bit there. Sometimes it might overlap it a bit and you can't quite see, but she's done these little things that stick out here or stick out there. So if you put your ruler down there, then that's sticking out and giving you enough guidance on where to trim it, and the same here. So it's quite useful. You just got to sometimes be a bit careful here. You know, you might be just trimming on a very small little amount along there. You might like to do that with your scissors though, because if you do with a rotary cutter, it would be very, very, very sad if you went through the strips there after all your hard work. So you trim all on the solid line. So that's all trimmed away, and then you can trim all your stitching on the back, trim all the ends off. So the binding So if you imagine, that's the edge of the bag there. So the binding goes across at the top here. Have I just, yeah, I think yeah. So it's not quite matching there, so you might like to bring it down a bit and trim it off a bit. The binding goes like that. And then I think it's 1/4 of an inch. Hang on, I don't want to go through. How many layers have I got here? That's fine. It's just the classic binding that you would do on a quilt. So you sew it 1/4 of an inch and then you turn it round. Let me just put another pin in and you can see. Like that. And then like that. Maybe it's a bit nearer actually because it looks a bit deeper. Yeah, 1/4 of an inch, yeah. So like that. And then you can sew in the ditch. So in the ditch means you sew here. Oops. Put a pin in. And then I'll put another one in there. That's why it's quite good, these ones. Oops. That doesn't very neat. But anyway, so you sew in the ditch on the right side and then hopefully it catches in on the wrong side like that. So they're saying to sew it first with a machine on the right side. If you're worried about catching it in, you could easily hand tack that. You know, that would be just a quick job to, you know, if you're worried that it might move around and you might not catch it in, it might move. Also, I think she says for the strip of binding, do about 46, or no, exactly 46 inches. And so obviously you can't get a 46-inch strip in one go, so I've done just 2 shorter ones, and I didn't really want you know, in them connecting, you know, where you can see it. And so I thought, well, if that's the width of the bag, I would like it a join there and a join there. So what I would do is I would sew it all along there, and then all along on the other side, and then when you're getting a bit nearer, or stop about that far away from the edge, you can sew across the 2 bits of binding together, and then you can roll them back like that, so you can get your the actual seam of that right on the seam of the bag. That's what we're aiming to do. I mean, you do that in dressmaking, you know, try and make it look as pretty as possible from the inside as well. Right, so that's the binding. I'll show you on the main bag as well. So you can see here, I've sewn in the ditch there, and then I've turned it back and then caught it there. And I thought about grey stitching there, thread, and then I thought about, you know, grey or greeny grey there catching in. So there. So it isn't lined because you actually made the lining, but if you wanted to put a slip pocket in or zip pocket, then you'd have to put a lining in as well. But once you've done your quilting, you could take a pattern of that and then slip it in. It does seem a shame though, but sometimes, you know, you might need a slip pocket or something like that. But as I said, you could make up a little zipped purse with it. So the making up of the bag is, you can see here, we've got these chunks that come out and they fold together and they make a box bottom. So what I'll do is I'll turn this one inside out and then I'll show you. So the box bottom is like that. So what you do is you would put the two, sew the two side seams together, and then I've overlocked them as well. And then you open out that shape there, and then you go across there. I did it with a straight stitch, and then I just did it with an overlocker as well. And then, but what you must make sure is that the length of that is the same. So whatever length that is, I think it was 9.5 or something, then you must make that 9.5, because when you turn it around the right way, you might have the bottom, they might be different. As you can see where you're quilting in that. Right, so that's that. I think that's mostly done now. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me do my quilting and going, and it's inspired you to either choose this lovely floral one or the Geo Brights. I hope you enjoyed that demo to make this beautiful Tori Tote by June Taylor. I hope you enjoyed seeing all the lovely panels that we've got. I've just hold this one up and you can just have a look at the different colours with the binding and the strap. I haven't quite finished it, but I will do. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.
Angela, thank you so much. That was so interesting. I'm so impressed with that. I really, really am excited about this. So just to recap, and we've had a delivery so I can show you the grey. In case you've missed all of that, so I'll just recap. So you're going to get this wonderful Quilt-as-you-go wadding here. Now, when you get it, don't forget that hidden in amongst it somewhere will be the instructions. So you've got the instructions, but they will be inside the bundle. You've just got to dig through it. So you're going to get all of that, and you've got all the wonderful lines and everything on it. Isn't that so much easier? So Angela showed that very, very easily on what you're doing with all of that. So that's going to come in a lovely little bag. And then this is the lovely dark grey you're going to get with this bundle. This is the Geo Brights bundle you're getting here. So you're getting the dark grey, the panel, and then this lovely kit that goes with it as well. Really phenomenal value, because you're getting 1 metre of this dark grey. Let me show you what the metre looks like on that. You can see it's a lot of fabric, and it's such a beautiful, beautiful grey, this. Really, really lovely. So that's the grey fabric you're getting with it. And then the panels are, without question, definitely the star of this little kit. Oh, don't forget your webbing. Your webbing comes with that as well. But these panels are just brilliant. Look at that. So this is now, I'm just showing you the sides. Do we have dimensions on this? Oh, it's written on here, if I just read it. So this is 138 centimetres by 24. So the 24, I'm assuming, is that. So it's 138 centimetres this way. So from that hand to this hand, that's 138. So you've got 24 centimetres there, 24 centimetres there, 24 there, 24 there. So just under 1.25 metres of fabric that you're getting on that by 138 centimetres. So that's our Geo Brights collection there that Angela was using in her demo. Isn't it just a fun colourway? Loving that. And don't forget, you're obviously getting your Quilt-as-you-go kit with it as well. Really lovely bundle on that. If that colourway wasn't what you were after, you still get the wonderful kit, instructions inside the wadding. And we're going to look at the vintage collection here. So you're getting the vintage panel that goes with it. So this is the one that and then this is the grey that goes with it. So that's the light grey you're getting with it as well. Isn't that the most gorgeous colourway there? So you're getting this wonderful kit here, this lovely metre of grey, and then this wonderful fabric bundle here, the fabric, what are we calling this? Panel, fabric panel, that's what I'm looking for. And again, you're getting your 5 different, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just checking, 5 different colourways there. Each of these are 24 centimetres each wide, and then there are 138 centimetres this way. So from this hand to this hand's 138 centimetres there. 24 centimetres of each of those colourways. You're getting 5, so that's just under 1.25 metres for this wonderful panel. And you're getting that metre of light grey fabric that goes with it. Thank goodness our lovely delivery team delivered that during our video there. Thank you for that. But doesn't that grey go so beautifully there? Really, really love that colour combination. And you're getting the wonderful Quilt-as-you-go kit and the webbing, all included in that little bundle. Now, don't forget as well, we've got the YouTube page now that you can go back and watch that demo anytime you like. Now, the demo that we've got here with the sample, this is now this colorway that we've got. So again, you're going to get this wonderful Quilt-as-you-go kit. You're getting the webbing that goes with it. The pattern is on the inside of that. You're getting a metre of the cream fabric that I was able to luckily show you in the previous hour. And then you're getting this wonderful panel over here. And again, these are 5 different colorways, 24 centimeters wide of each one of those colorways, 1.38 m of the height, the length of the fabric there. And you can just see the colors are just so interesting. Really beautiful colorway there. And our wonderful sample that's on the set at the moment was actually made out of this colorway. Let me show you this bag up close and personal. It really is a very, very popular combination there. Just look at that. Just this beautiful grey here with the flowers on it. It's grey and blue and beautiful with this lovely little flower detail. It's fantastic. But you see, my personal favourite is this fabric over here. That is just the most lovely, lovely flower there. And I think they've put that in this wonderful patch over there. It's a lovely, lovely colourway. And we've been able to stuff this a little bit, so give the bag a bit more full. You do not get the wadding with it, but there's the lovely cream that you'll be able to get with this combination. And if you're buying the vintage colourway, that's what the grey would look like on the inside of the bag. And if you're buying the Geo Brights colourway, that would be the inside of that bag over there. It just works so beautifully with these colours that we've got. But look at that. So Angela, again, thank you so much for that wonderful demonstration. Stay. Every time I do that, it normally falls over, so there we go. So we've now got a fantastic hour of Creative Grid Rulers coming up at 10 o'clock. So we're just going to redo the set, and we'll see you in a few minutes.
Hello there, I'm Debbie Shaw, and I would love you to join me on the first Monday of every single month for Sewing Street Surgery. Now, this is a dedicated hour where I answer your questions, and that could be questions about techniques, it could be questions about tools, it could be questions about new products, or maybe something that you've seen that you just don't understand. There's a lot of questions about tensions on sewing machines, and there's a lot of questions about working with different weights of fabrics. So if you have a question that you'd like to ask me, the easiest way to bring a question over to us is to go to our Facebook page and post your question on there. I will collate all of those questions throughout the week. If we need any new products for you, or if we need any new demonstrations, those will all be worked on leading up to that first Monday of the month. So do join me, Debbie Shaw, on Sewing Street Surgery on the first Monday.
Would you like to take part in our weekly competition? If you do, then all you have to do is head to the Sewing Street fan page group on Facebook. Post your picture of your make. Myself, Debbie Shaw, and John Cole Morgan love looking at all of your makes every week. We pick our favourite and announce the winner every Friday live on the show. Happy sewing and good luck.
Hello and welcome. We love hearing from you, and we really hope that you can follow us on our social media platforms. We've got Instagram, which is @SewingStreet. We have Facebook. We've got 2 Facebook pages. One is the Sewing Street TV page, and the other one is Sewing Street Fans. All 3 of these are monitored all the time by our wonderful team, and if you want to message us on air, drop us a line on either of those 3 and we'll definitely be able to answer your questions that you may have. If you post on the actual wall, we can perhaps answer there. Otherwise, message us as well. That works really, really well. Thank you so much for being involved, and it's only because of this community that we're able to bring you all these different diverse products and to be able to answer your questions that you may have. Another way you can stay in touch with us is by signing up to our newsletter. These newsletters are sent out to you very regularly, and they include not only our guest profiles of upcoming guests, but also amazing shows that we've got coming up for you. And if you want to look at the amazing products before everybody else, that's the best way to do it. If you'd like to sign up and you haven't already, the link to follow is www.sewingstreet.com/sign up. You won't regret it. Thank you.
Shopping with us couldn't be easier. If you want to shop online, then you can head to our website, www.sewingstreet.com. It will redirect you to our sister channel Jewellery Makers landing page. Don't worry, you haven't gone to the wrong place. We're simply using their website temporarily while we're building our own web shop. Scroll down past the Watch Live part and you'll see all of the products that you will have seen on air on today's live show. You can also shop our catalogue by clicking a category, clicking a product to view closer and adding it to your basket. Once you're ready to check out, you will need to create an account, which is absolutely free to do so, but it will mean that you can check out on as many orders as you want throughout the day with still only paying one postage and packaging. If you'd prefer to speak to somebody in our UK-based customer service team, then you can do so via the free telephone line number 0800 001 4433. They will not only help you create an account, but will also help you with any of your online shopping.
Hello and welcome back. Gosh, you were very lucky you didn't come 5 seconds earlier. I had everything everywhere. Now it's all bunged over there. Welcome back. We've got an hour of creative grids ahead of us and I am really excited to share that with you. But before we go any further, I want to finish off our wonderful Liberty bundle that we did at our 8 o'clock hour. We ran out of time, so I couldn't show them all to you. So we were able to do these 5 fabrics in our bundle already. So these were already done in our 8 o'clock hour. So those are the 5 that we've done. We've got this incredible Liberty bundle. Those are 5 of the colorways there. I don't think we've ever found the little label that flew off one of the labels there. So these are the 13 fabrics? 7.5, so that's 15 fabrics. So you're getting all 15 fabrics there available then for half a metre of each, 7.5 metres of fabric in total, and that is going to be £104.86. You're effectively saving £7.49, which is half a metre. So you're paying for 7 metres, but you're getting 7.5. Those are the 5 that we've done already. Let me show you the next 10 that you're getting in this wonderful bundle. The code on this one is C for Charlie, Zulu, Yankee, Victor, 76. Oh, and of course it helps if I open it the right way round. That would be really helpful. And I'm so excited about this demonstration because I've been able to cut into these and get bits as well. I love it when I get to play with the Liberty fabric. Look at that. Tell me that is not just the most beautiful, beautiful colour combination there. This one's called the Adlington Hall fabric from Flower Show Summer Range. Half a metre of this is also available on its own for £7.49, but obviously it's included in our mega bundle as well. So we got that available. And I have to say my folding's gotten a lot better than it did when I first started this. It's gotten a lot better. Oh, itchy nose, sorry, itchy nose. It's all the hay fever and everything in the air. So this one is QAYG21. Oh, these should be in order because I went off the sheet. There we go. So I'll put that a bit further forward for you. You can see all the colorways there. Isn't that just beautiful? So this is called the Abbey Wood Fabric Collection from Flower Show Summer Range. Half metre of that. I think Abbey Wood's in London, isn't it? But I think wasn't this called Adlington? Abbey Wood, it is, yes. Abbey Wood Station in London. LRYV85. I think these are Cosmos, aren't they? These are really lovely. Sorry. There we go. Course LRYV85. Now, you know, every show I do, there's always a gremlin somewhere. So it's definitely, I seem to have this effect on the computers and the machine sometimes. This one's the Melbourne Meadow fabric from the Flower Show Summer Range. £7.49 for a half metre of that. And don't forget, this is now our 8th fabric. It's our 8th fabric in our bundle collection here. There's a quilt show in Malvern, isn't there? Oh, look at this one. This is lovely. So DVYV13. Oh, God, I'm full of itches today. Sorry. Just like everything's... Sorry. I'm doing really well. Arley Gardens today. Fabric, the Arley Gardens. Look at that. £7.49 for a half metre of that. Oh, not sure I could do the flick on that again. I was trying to undo that little curve of the fabric on the side. I think I spend more time folding the fabric back up than I do actually talking to you. So these are, this one is QAYG05. Look at that one. This is the Wisley flowers. So Wisley's down in Hampshire on the way to Portsmouth. So beautiful, beautiful gardens there. When we're able to go back, you must make a trip down. It's beautiful. Again, £7.49 for the half metre of that. I think all of us have spent so much time in the gardens nowadays. We're going to have the best gardens in the whole country. It's going to be great. And now we're 2/3 the way through on our lovely bundle now. 5 left in this combination. This one is ENYV58. This is the Emily Silhouette Blue Flower from the Flower Show Summer Range. Doesn't that look lovely? These collections that they make, they've got the most beautiful, beautiful designs and the most gorgeous colours that go with it. Can you imagine your garden at night? That would be what it looked like, isn't it? That's number 11 in our beautiful bundle. And then we've got this one, which is called Mammy, GEYV53. I think this is a very iconic design, this. Isn't that lovely? You can see all the fuchsias in that as well. Aren't they beautiful? Really lovely connection there. Again, £7.49 for a half metre. That is fabric number 12 in our lovely bundle of fabric collection bundle today. My folding definitely has improved. I love this one, is so gorgeous. XYYV09. Look how beautiful this one is. So pretty. This is called the Liberty Hide Floral fabric from the Flower Show Summer Range. Half metre for £7.49. And it's fabric number 13, dum dum dum, of our 15 fabric collection in our Liberty bundle. You're getting a half metre of all of these in our beautiful bundle here today. And because of the price point we've got on our mega bundle, you're only going to pay for all of those and this one as well. And then the last piece is effectively free. This is GOYV21. Cosmos. Look how fun they are. That pink and purple are just so beautifully bold and just scream out at you in such a good way. Love that. But of course with Liberty you've got that incredible design ethos that they've had for 145 years. They're the most incredible company. If you've not been down to Liberty in London, make sure when you can go and travel and do things, you do so and go and have a little look. It's an absolutely stunning, stunning store. And then the very last one we have here is the Emily Silhouette Flower, YQYV68. Oh, You're ahead of the curve there, love that. But look at that. Beautiful, beautiful combination. So that's the last of the 15 fabrics in our Liberty Bundle collection. And also then you've got this is the half metre available to you for $7.49. And I'm so excited I got to use some of this fabric for my demos, my creative grids today, which I'm very excited about. So there we go, there's our beautiful Liberty Bundle. I'm going to leave it over here just that I can stroke it through the show. There we go. So, our very, very first Creative Grids ruler today is our hexagon trim tool. And I am besotted with this hexagon trim tool. I love this one because it just makes, now I've made so many samples of this, but before I get to showing you all the different samples, my many samples, I think my standard thing when I get a ruler, so I got the ruler as you will, you get the ruler like that, and you're getting the wonderful set of instructions that go with it. With all creative grids, you can see there's a slippy side, and then you've got the non-slip grip dottage stripes on this one. And the fact that you get these wonderful set of instructions is so good because it tells you how to cut each and every piece, whether you're doing a 2-inch, 4-inch, 6-inch, or an 8-inch hexagon, or, excuse me, pardon me. Oh, I'm so sorry, a little frog in my throat there. Apologies for that. Sorry about that. When you've got all of these, you've got all the ways of cutting half hexagons, full hexagons, and you can do these as 2 inches, 4 inches, 6 inches, or indeed as an 8-inch hexagon. They are so good, and the rulers are the instructions are so helpful to be able to show you what it is that we're doing and how it all works. Because you can see over here, I've got the 6-inch hexagon there, we've got the 4-inch hexagon there, 6-inch hexagon there, 2-inch hexagon there, and I've even cut out just a plain 8-inch hexagon out of this, and it works really well. So I'll show you some of the ones that I've made with the previous fabric. These were just plain 100% cottons, and now I took everything out the bag in one go, and of course there we go. So that was a previous Liberty one that I did with a 6-inch hexagon, just with a border piece around it, which I think just shows how beautifully well they can go together. But what I loved about this is that you can do a 4-inch hexagon there, but then if you wanted to do a whole 8-inch solid piece, you can do that. And then what I liked is you can then create a sort of secondary design as you do this all the way along. So if we want to, I'm not sure I've got enough all in black, but I'm going to give it a go. And you can see what I'm doing here is I've got the solid fabric here going into the middle, but then I've got this secondary pattern forming around the outside. Now, what I'd wanted to do here was to, you can see I've added a few little bits of colour in it. And what I loved about this ruler was the fact that I picked it up and started working with it, and many hours later I got a phone call from Andrew to say, come home, it is time to come home. And I literally have been sitting playing with this ruler for hours and hours on end, and you can create a beautiful flower like that, and you've got the secondary design with all of these going in, and then you can have that middle piece. But if you don't want to do a middle piece, you can do something like that, or you can pop it in like that, get a little pop of colour. There's just so many different things that you can do with this ruler, and the different designs that you can do with it are so unique, and you can just make so many different shapes with it. It's just such a clever ruler. Like this one I really enjoyed making as well, because you get to change the colours as you go. And then if you were, I'm going to try and move this down a little bit. You know, when you get to the end of your design, can we move it up a little bit? So if you want it, I like having my quilts having a straight edges, so I can add my borders on. The ruler also allows you to make half hexagons, and these 120-degree triangles as well. So you can make a quilt of any size you like by just using the ruler and putting it in. And if you wanted to, you can just have a wall hanging of one single flower, and then you could have the half hexie over on the bottom here. You can see my finger just here. You can create that little half hexie there, and you can create this really incredible triangle, hexagon in the center with this traditional flower version, but just then put the border around it and make it a nice straight edge flat border by popping these triangles in the corner. And it is just such a really effective ruler to use, and something so different. But I'm hoping that once I've shown you, I don't actually know how you would do this without the ruler, but it is such an easy ruler to use, which is why I loved using it. And I did cut out quite a few because I just couldn't stop. I was so addicted to it. So you can see these were effectively my spare ones that I made just because I could, and the ruler was there and I just could not stop. And the great thing as well, you can cut out the diamonds as well. So if you wanted to do a different shape of that, you can then create that design there, and you can put the triangles in it as well. So you're just so many different designs on it. And the good thing is as well, you can put a black triangle in there because you've got a black leading into it, and then you can put white over here because you've got that tertiary design, secondary design coming through. It's a really nice ruler to use, and I'm hoping I can now show you how easy it is to make a hexagon out of it. I'm going to put my samples away because with so many samples I'm going to lose them otherwise. So what I've done here, right, so what I've done is I've made that. Now we're going to make the same thing now, hopefully. Where is my ruler? Hopefully. Using the brand new Liberty, there's my ruler. You know what it's like, you put everything down nice and safe and then you can't find it again. So it is so simple to use. So you can see I have got a scrap of fabric here, and then what I'm going to do is my hexagon is going to be 4 inches. So you can see I've got my 4-inch hexie there. I've got my line that I'm going to be cutting on. So where do I put it? That's what I'm looking for. No, I found it. So you are going to now cut off the bits that so you can see you've now got those 2 sides of your hexagon. You then rotate your hexagon round 90 degrees, or however many degrees. And what I've done is I've rotated it round. So these 2 sides that I've just cut, you can see there, I'm now going to put my black line on top of those, get those ready there. So you can see those are the 2 sides I've just cut. I'm now going to put that black line on top of those rulers there, on top of those cut edges there. I'm going to take that off. So now I've got 4 edges completely cut, rotate it around, and again you can see I've now got my 2 edges there, but equally I've got my 2 edges here that are cut. So I move that all down and make sure that I've got that all perfectly lined up. And I cut that bit off as well. So I've got my perfect hexagon. So if you're doing a 2-inch hexagon or a 4-inch, this is a 4-inch hexagon, or a 6-inch, it's exactly the same methodology. So you'll see over here what I've done is I've put the teal on this side and I put the floral on this side. Now I'm going to do it the other way round. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put and you can see I'm really paying a lot of attention to making sure I get these all the same size. Ha ha ha. So it's so simple. All I'm going to do is I'm now going to sew these 3 pieces onto these sides over here. It is so simple to do. Usual 1/4-inch seam. I'm going to plug my iron in because I've just realized I haven't done that. And as long as you keep your 1/4-inch, it doesn't matter how you do this. And if your 1/4-inch is a little wobbly, you don't need to worry because I'm going to show you how it gets fixed and solved. And that's what I love most about these rulers, is because it does, if your 1/4 inch, it's very beginner friendly in the fact that if your 1/4 inch isn't 100% and you do have a little wobble, they are easily fixed with this beautiful trim tool, because it's just so cleverly done. And they're made by quilters for quilters, because all of us who start out as quilting, I'm disappearing to put my iron on. They're not just developed by random people who don't quilt or don't sew, which I think is really important that we have got people who actually do use the rulers for that specific purpose. So I set my seams first of all, and then I turn these round, and you can see I'm not pulling the fabric, I'm just gently, we're going to get into the, there we go. So I'm just gently using the nose of my iron to do that, pressing that down, and then I'm rolling this one back. My iron's not quite hot just yet. There we go. And there we go. Now, my demonstration now is going to be different to the way Creative Grids do it. You must do the way that works best for you. I personally prefer doing it this way because I just feel you don't have as much bulk of fabric behind your block when you do it. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to trim these bits off. And over there. And what I'm doing is I'm lining my ruler up mainly with this line over here, and I'm trimming the bits off. And then lastly, and the great thing about this is if you don't have the trim tool, I'm not quite sure how you would actually make this block, because it's obviously possible, but I'm just not quite sure how you would. And frankly, I wouldn't want to, because this is so much easier. So what I'm doing now is, you can see, now given I've made this a few times, I know that I don't need, as you'll see that this piece of fabric isn't quite covering the edges, but when I put this over here, you will see that when I trim it down, you're actually going to lose about that much fabric. So when you get to use the machine, the ruler a fair bit, you know that you only need, for the next layer of fabric over there, you only need, oh, and I'm glad I checked that, because that piece wasn't going to be big enough. So always cut bigger, it's just easier. What did I do with that little box of fabric? And I've now disappeared from screen. I'm still here, but I've put my little piece of fabric somewhere really safe. I think I put it in with my Dresdens, and it was this green piece over here. Bum-ba-da-bum-bum. I love this, but this is exactly how I work all the time. You'll hear me going, Sylvia, I can't find it, where are you? So it'll be here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Oh, I found it. There we go. Ah, no stress. No stress. Where is the... I'm doing really well today. Don't do this at home. There we go. So there we go. I have just randomly cut these two pieces of fabric over here. Right, so now we've just sewn those three on there. I'm now going to put these on over here. Exactly the same, doing 1/4 of an inch down each side. Now my 1/4 inch wobbled a little bit there, which is good, because I'll be able to show you then how the trim tool actually doesn't really mind if you do wobble in your 1/4 inch, and how it fixes it. And over here. Brilliant. So now all I've done, press those down. So exactly like I pressed the last round, I'm going to set my seam if I can. Set my seam there, and set my seam there. And then I'm going to just use the nose of the iron to pull that back over there, and then exactly the same over here. Just let the iron go straight over the fabric, not pulling or pressing. But one thing here, this is quite good to notice. You'll see that I've just let the iron go over that, but if I pull that back, you can see it isn't completely flat. So just make sure that when you're pressing it, it does come back and is completely flat all the way along there. So that's our first round completed. So what you're going to do next is you're going to take this. Now, because we're using the 4-inch hexagon over here, that was where we cut our 4-inch hexagon over there. When we're doing our round 1, you'll see that this is the round 1 that we line everything up to. And what that will mean, can you... if I do that there, you can see there's a little black dotted line going all the way around to follow the 4-inch hexagon. And what you do is you put the 4-inch hexagon in the middle of that triangle. Now you'll see just over here, remember I said to you my 1/4-inch seam went a bit wobbly over here? It's not by much, but you can see it's just gone a little bit wobbly there. It really doesn't matter because actually I'm going to use the rotating cutting mat just for this section because it does make your life a lot easier. So all I'm doing is I'm leaving that exactly as I had it before. And all I'm doing is I'm lining up. I picked 2 sides to make sure that it's 100% lined up, which I'm going to do these 2 sides over here. I rotate my ruler and my mat and I trim this bit off. And there we go. So that's why it's called a trim tool, because all you're doing is trimming the piece as you go. Now we've cut this bit, we've cut that bit. So all I'm doing now is I'm lining this up with the next 2 sections to cut. I'm taking my 4-inch line, lining it back up with that bit over there as my central pieces. Oh, I haven't rotated it enough. There we go. And you'll see as well over here, you've got 2 extra lines to line up the bits that you've already cut to make sure that these are all lined up. And then over here, you cut there and there. And you've now rotated that once. Rotate that again. And now we've cut, oops, I've rotated it once too many. So you can see I've cut that side, that side, that side, and that side. So this line now, the dark line, you just line everything up with that dark line on the edge to make sure it's all lined up. And then you trim what's left. So where your 1/4 inch, whoops, potentially like mine, might be a bit out there, you can't tell. You can't tell. And it is such a clever tool. Now when you do the next round, you just build up from that. So all you do now is I know that's how big my next section needs to be. And you can see I'm just eyeballing this. I haven't measured it out. In the cutting plan, it does actually give you a set of instructions as to what size everything needs to be. So all I'll be doing now is putting that on here. But having done this about 568 million times already, the great thing with this is that you do get to the point when you've used the ruler a fair bit and you know what you're looking for, you'll be able to see whether the fabric will work or not. And you won't be doing it live on telly, which means normally when you do make a little mistake, there's not anybody watching you. And when you lose everything in the studio, you can then just call out for Sylvia and she will come and bring it to you. I do think we need to go and... I did say to Sylvia jokingly the other day, I said, you do realise I could sell your services to many, many people. And she was not having any of it. She's like, nope. Allegedly, she has trained me to how she likes it, so that's fine. And there we go. So now we've done round 2. you've only got 3 seams to go and your block's finished. So again, you're just pressing that down, setting your seams, pull that back, pushing it out that way. And there we go. So now again, I take my, now the Creative Grids designers, they don't trim these off, I do. So you can leave these on. I just think you've got less fabric behind there. And also you can use this for your foundation paper piecing. I love the fact I've got a rotating cutting mat and I still rotate my fabric by hand. A couple of weeks ago I was doing a lot better with it. I remembered that time. So there we go. And now my next section, I'm going to need to cut these. Oops. So now I know this is now the long bit that you've got to cut, sew. And again, I'm being terribly accurate with my cutting. Is that big enough? Yes, it is. So there we go. Now we're just going to do the last little seam, the last 3 seams on here. But you can see just in a few minutes how effective this block can be just by sewing 6 pieces of fabric to it and trimming everything down. Now, obviously you can do a smaller piece in the middle by doing a 2-inch hexagon. That is very easy to do. Oh, wrong piece. So you can easily do that. Now, when I do this in my own studio, all I do is I pull the thread out. I don't cut the thread. And I just pull a little bit of thread out because you're going to cut that off anyway. So it doesn't really matter how you do that. Because when you're making many of these, you can't, you want to find the quickest way of doing it. And for me, it was a case of I just thought by doing that, pulling it out a little bit, rotating it round, putting the fabric next to do, it just saves you either using your thread cutter or cutting it on the side of your machine. It just saves that little extra step. We all know I like as few steps in the process as possible. And there we go, that's it. All your sewing is now done. So now we can put this on here. Last pressing of these. And you can see I hadn't pressed my fabric beforehand, and it doesn't matter because you're going to do that now. And again, you just pull these back. But look how beautiful this Liberty goes together. It just works so beautifully there. And I give this a nice press. You can see I've got the steam out on this as well, just to get that nice and flat before I do the final trim on this. Get my ruler on here. So now I know that this is now the finished product. So I line this up. So you can see I was a little bit out on my 1/4 inches all the way around, and we're talking about 1 or 2 threads of fabric. So what I do is I center my hexagon right in the middle, and you'll see I've got 2 threads wherever I'm out, and all I do now is I just trim all the way around. Now this is where your rotating cutting mat is going to be worth its weight, because at the point of doing that, I've done 3. I haven't had to move anything. Put my hand back down on it. And oh, voila. But now look at how different these 2 blocks look by rotating them round. But then when you put the blocks together, if you then created a whole series where you had these coming together or those coming together, doesn't that make a more interesting design? Because you can put them together like that, where you can see you've got the things, but by doing that, it just creates that secondary pattern. And I just think that the ways that you can use this block are so interesting. And putting them together, you just use a Y seam sewing these all together. It's just such a great, great design. And of course, this new Liberty is just spectacular. Lovely, lovely product to do it then. And that's now for the hexagonal trim tool there. And there we go. So that's the wonderful hexagonal trim tool. You're going to be able to you'll get this wonderful ruler. Oh, my iron was really steamy. I've steamed up the back of my ruler. So we'll get that can you see it better on the green or the grey? The grey. But you can see this lovely ruler is available there. You get this wonderful set of instructions, and you'll see these are the different designs that you can make it. Oh, there you go. So you're cutting out your 2.5-inch hexagons, 4-inch hexagons, 6-inch hexagons, and then once you've cut those out, you open it up and it will tell you each and every step all the way along the way, and then it'll show you how you put them together using your half hexagons or your diamonds and how you can put them all together. So such a lovely, lovely ruler there, and I hope, and if you do use them, don't forget to put all your images on your on the social media platforms, because I certainly want to see them all when you've done them. I definitely want to see them. And remember, we've got our Make of the Week every week, so if you pop that on there, you may stand a chance of winning free postage and packaging on your next order. And that is our wonderful hexagonal trim tool. Now the next one, I absolutely am besotted with this Dresden ruler. I absolutely love it. I love it so much. There we go. I was going to say I love it so much I've buried it. So when you get the ruler, you're going to get this wonderful Dresden blade partition. So you're going to get the blade. We call this the blade segment ruler there. You're going to get the circular cutter, and you're going to get these wonderful set of instructions as well. And you can see you've got all the different options on how you do it. You can see it tells you there how you're going to make a curved edge, how you make a pointy edge, how you leave a plain edge. It's not just for Dresdens. You can do other rulers, other designs on it as well. So don't ever lose these instructions. They're really, really handy. One of our top tips is laminate them. Put them through your laminator. It's a really, really good way of doing it. So what I've done over here is in previous weeks, I have made some previous examples. So let me show you what. So if you don't want to do a full Dresden, you can do, so say that's the edge of your quilt over there, you can make a quarter Dresden. You can make 2 lots of quarter Dresdens. So you can put the Dresdens literally in the corner of your machine. And then if you do that, you can then put a Dresden in the middle. And you can have your fans coming in. So this one is the one I'm going to show you today. These, if you want to make these, they're very, very simple, very easy to do. Let me show you how you're going to do that. I'm going to show you on a piece of black. So all you're going to do is you're going to take your fabric, you're going to press it in half. You can do this on the iron, you can do it with your fingers, whatever's easiest for you. I like doing it with less steps, so I just use my fingers on it. And then what you're doing over here, you'll see you've got a crisscross on your ruler. Line that up, that black line. I line that up with my black fabric. That was a very clever choice of mine over here. So can we zoom in a little bit there? Oh, sorry. So you can see I've got that black line there. So I line that up with the fold on my fabric, and then I move it up to the edge here, as close to the edge as I can. And once I've got that nice and lined up, all I do is I take my rotary cutter, as small a rotary cutter as possible, and you then just cut all the way along that curve. Now, to show you just how close I got, you can see I was so close there. And by doing that, I get my wonderful fold. And then when I sew them together, that's how they work out. When you do sew these together, make sure that you're going to line up this point here, where this little point there, up with that point onto your next blade. Reason being is it doesn't matter whether the middle is out over here. What will matter is it'll show over here whether you're out. This section over here being a raw edge, you normally cover with a quarter circle or a circle. So the middle doesn't matter. What matters is the edges. So that's how you're doing the flower petal blade on that. So when you do make those, you're going to end up with a wonderful, wonderful effect like that. And if you were lucky enough to get some of our Tilde apple butter, the Tilde range that we had as our fat eights, that was, this is on the website. We haven't got it on the show today, so type in Tilde and you can do a search on those. There aren't many left, but you can see it gives you a beautiful, beautiful example of having all 20 fabrics in the collection on there. And then what we can do as well is if you wanted to not create any curves, you can just cut the blades out and you can just end up with a blade with a cover like that. So there's many, many ways you can use the ruler. What I've done today is I'm going to show you very quickly. This is the previous range of Liberty that we had in. I'm going to create these wonderful little points for you today to show you how that works. And I have now gone ahead and done some of them, not all of them, in the new range of fabrics here. So what I've done, just separating these out. As you can tell, when I said we came in from the break, I was busy chain piecing. You can see this is what they look like. But it is such an easy ruler to use. Come on, almost there, almost there. But it's so easy to be addicted to putting all these fan pieces together. So all I'm doing is I'm putting these, so I've got, those are the ones that I've already done, so I'll get back to showing you those. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut your blades out, and they're going to look like this. You're going to have those straight edges on the end. You're going to have all these wonderful blades, and you can see I just put them on top of each other. It doesn't matter whether they're which way round they are, they'll still all come together. And then what you do is you fold these right sides together in half, and then you just put them through the sewing machine and sew 1/4 inch. And your 1/4 inch is sewn just lining this up here with the edge of your foot and sewing 1/4 inch down that line over there. And even if the fabric is a little bit crinkly at the top, it doesn't matter because you're about to give it a very good press. And you just literally put these through the machine and get as many fans as you want. You need 20 to make a full fan, 10 to make a half, and 5 to make a 1/4 fan. So you can then do them how you choose. But this fabric is just such a beautiful way of doing it. And you can put them all together in different ways. You can have plans on how you do it. It's so, so easy to do. And I've only got 2 more of these to go. And then I think I've got 2 of all of them. Or might be 4 of all of them. I may have miscounted. This is the problem. The rulers are so fun to use. You just keep cutting and cutting and cutting. So all you do is once you've chain piecing them, and the great thing with this is you don't actually have to use them only with the other collection pieces. You can do these with solids. I'll show you a piece in a minute when I've done this on how effective it looks, because this was a different print that we used, and all I did was use the print then with the black, and you can see just how effective that is just by then highlighting the pieces. So once you've done all of those and you've got them all separated, this is a really fun little tool to be able to use. We call this a stiletto, isn't it? So if you just Google stiletto on the website, you'll be able to find that. Oh, I forgot one little tip. Tip. That's what I'm looking for. When you fold these down, you'll see I've got my 1/4 inch seam there. Got my 1/4 inch seam. So what you're going to do is you're just going to trim a little bit of fabric off. And the reason you want to do that is when I trim that piece, now don't get too close to the seam line because you don't want the point to come through completely. But when you get close to the seam line and do this, when you turn the fabric round, it just gives you a much pointier point, for the want of a better description. Everybody wants the pointiest point you can possibly point with. And now once you've got that over, all you're doing is you're rotating this round and you're just going to push that through and then you can finger press that or use your iron. Of course, I've got my iron on already, so once I've once I've got a pointy ones there, you can get that done. Now, if you do these and you don't have an iron nearby, there is that wonderful roll and press that you can use as well, which is a fabulous little tool. Normally I bought one years ago thinking, oh, I'll never use that, but I won't deny, I do find myself reaching for it when I do the Dresdens, because normally I've got to walk 12 paces to the iron, and you know, that's why I'm very round. So this is why I use this. I can't be bothered to get up and go and walk to the iron. So I do that. Now, top tip, if you're not going to be using an iron, put your finger along here to get the halfway point, and then you line your seam up with that halfway point over there. Can you see the seam lines lined up? And then if you are going to use the roll and press, that's it, you're done. No heat involved. You're saving the planet by not using electricity. There we go. Check the roll and press out on the web as well. So that's a nice way of doing that again. So all I'm doing there is folding the fabrics together to get my center point. And I won't deny, it is a really, really nice little thing to just therapeutically smush fabric into submission. You see, you get to a point there. But if you do want to use your iron, that works equally as well. So on this as well, you're going to just find the middle points. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. I know you're all thinking that roll and press is much easier now, isn't it? So then, and then you just start laying them out in whatever order you think you want to do them. I do find having a dark, a light, and then a dark again is quite effective with this, but again, that's just my little take on it. You can do it how you prefer. There is no right or wrong. It's your design at the end of the day. And then maybe that there, or putting that there. Oh, I think that's going to be better. Again, find your middle mark over here. And there we go, you've got those together. Now you would just sew these in 1/4 inch all the way down. And you can see I've got lots to play with when I'm finished. I was a little ambitious with the amount I thought I would do. And you can lay these out how you want to lay them. For myself, I think I'm going to have my boldest ones on the outside. And when you put these together, you're going to take these like this. You're going to line your point up, and you're going to line these up here because you want your points to be at the same height, and you're going to line this up here. So you can see over here I am slightly out on the bottom, and that doesn't matter because the bottom is going to be covered by a circle. So you're just going to put a 1/4 inch seam down one side. So I've done those two. Now I'm going to line these two up. Again, I'm going to line my point up and the side. Line those up there, all the way down. Now you can press these as you go. Obviously I'm live on telly and we've only got about 3 or 4 minutes left of this. So what I'm going to do now is I've got these two sewn together. I'm going to put these two together. Exactly the same. I'm lining the corner up, the top bit up, and the outer corner over there, lining those up, putting that through the machine. And then last but not least, I'm going to put that one on here as well. Again, lining my point up there and this point first. Once I've got those lined up, A stray collection of threads there. Oh. And there we go. Now you'll see as well on the bottom they are a bit out of place. You can see they're all different. That's absolutely fine because that traditionally gets covered by a circle. So we don't need to worry about that. I then get my iron and I now fan these in one direction. And you can see I just very gently rotate my iron along the way and get everything pressed down nice and flat. And once I've done it that way, I get the iron out and make sure I go that way as well, pressing them along the way. And I've got one little thread left over here. And that is the corner for your quilt over there. And you can just see, you can do corners like that. Otherwise you make 4 of those and that gives you a full Dresden. I'll show you again in a different, so this was the previous collection of Liberty that we had. And you can see you can do it like that. Otherwise, we've got a smaller one in the tilde as well. You can see it's just a really, really effortless way of being able to use little bits of your fabric, which is another great thing about this, is that you can use a small amount of your fabric to make something incredibly effective. And we had a lot of cream and white and ivory on our cream and ivory on the show earlier. So if you just took a piece of cream and you put 4 of these in the corners and then made 1 for the middle. So if I just did that, and I'm showing you here. So even if you did a half, so this is the previous collection that we had. So you could do a half on one end, you could do 2 quarters on the bottom, and then do a circle in the middle. You can tell you have used so little of your Liberty fabrics, but you've got something so incredibly effective to be able to show it going there. I think this is a really lovely way of being able to use really lovely fabrics in a fantastic way of being able to do that. So effective, but it's got so much fabric left over that you can easily do that. And let me just recap what you're getting with this. And you're getting the wonderful blade over here, the wonderful blade cutter over here. You're getting this lovely circle, which I showed you how to cut out the petals on that. This is also used to create the circle for the center of your Dresdens. And you've got this wonderful set of instructions as well, also available. All of that together, make sure you laminate those or put them somewhere really safe. And that's available to you for £20.99. So just to give you a reminder of what this fabulous Liberty collection was, look how beautiful this is. Absolutely gorgeous collection here. Get rid of that. I've got too much fabric everywhere today. So I'm going to just show you again this wonderful collection by Liberty. It was is it the Flower Show Summer Range fabric collection. We had the spring one on previously, which is some of the bits that you saw me using previously. Now, please don't fall. Please don't fall. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Oh, it did. I was trying so hard. So there we go. We've got 15 different pieces of Liberty there. All of them are ½ meter of each fabric. We showed all of these at the end of our 8 o'clock hour and at the beginning of our 10 o'clock hour. £104.86 available for that. And I cannot tell you, they are just the most beautiful fabrics to work with. So lovely. So much fabric there, 7.5 meters. At that price there, you're going to be getting a ½ meter for free. Sorry, what was that? Oh, we've had a request to see the cutting mat from Dawn. Hello, Dawn. Hope you're having a great day. This mat, I think, is the best thing for doing this. I love doing that. But you can tell it is such a great piece to use, especially you saw specifically on that hexagon trim tool, being able to do it. Put the ruler on and you can just rotate this however you need to go. It's 12 inches that way, 12 inches this way. It's measured in inches all the way along. You've got your 60-degree line, your 45-degree line, and your 30-degree line. If you are able to cut circles, these are the different widths of the circles. I think that's a 6-inch one, 8-inch, 10-inch, and then obviously that's as big as it can go on there. But it's such a beautiful mat to use. It flows so beautifully, and it's just such a really lovely mat to be able to have. And it's something that I definitely use, even if I turn the fabric myself. I use it all the time in my studio. And foundation paper piecing as well, I use this a lot. So that's available today. How much are these? Sorry, the graphic was on and I was prattled on for ages there. How much? $32.99 available there. So do check that out on the website. And yeah, what a lovely show. I'm so excited to have been able to share today with you. Have I missed anything? Tomorrow, we've got the fabulous Debbie Shaw. I always feel sad that I never get to be in the studio at the same time as everybody else. Debbie tomorrow is doing sewing room tools at 8 o'clock. She's got her quilted beach hut wall hanger tomorrow. That's going to be exciting. Oh, and then she's got this fabrics featuring Alison Glass sun prints, which is going to be fabulous. Then 11 o'clock is Fabulous Fabrics. And then the 12 o'clock show tomorrow is a repeat of Angela Pressley's Quilt-as-you-go Tori Tote bag. That's going to be exciting. Thank you all so much for being here today. If you have got any questions, please drop us a line on our Facebook page. And I can't thank you all enough for your time. Have a wonderful Sunday. Stay safe, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.